financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom.
It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We are glad that you're here with us. It's Wednesday, middle of the week, and there is a lot to talk about. Today's going to be a great show, and I want you to stick with us throughout the show or bookmark us for later to come back and pick up what you missed, because when we come back at 12:25, so 20 minutes from now, we're going to speak with Andy McCarthy, a great guest, great booking by Brad. Thank you for doing that. Andy McCarthy is a contributing editor at the National Review and Fox News contributor, former chief assistant to the United States attorney, and he's going to talk to us about what's going on at the Supreme Court and the idea about these student loans that are facing this question is one that everybody is on the edge of their seat to find out what happens. How many people are going to be devastated by the idea that the president cannot do this? The president can't just forgive $20,000 of student loans for people across this country and shoulder the burden of paying back those student loans on the backs of people who paid off their loans, didn't take out loans, never got a degree. Remember when this all got put through? It was right before the election. I suggest that maybe the administration always knew that this was on very shaky ground, and they got what they needed out of it. They got what they needed out of you, which was support for this particular movement, and maybe it was something that made you feel better about going forward in the debt situation that you have right now. And so when you are at the ballot box and you're thinking about what do we need? What do we need more of? Maybe you shift your vote to a pro-Biden vote in a midterm versus away. He had a great midterm. Republicans sure did not do what they expected to do in that midterm. Well, the Supreme Court is going to have a say in it. And the Supreme Court is going to be able to tell us what kind of authority and spending power does the executive branch have? And how does that affect the power of the purse that resides in the House of Representatives and in Congress? I don't know the answer to that question, which is why we have Andy McCarthy on the show in about 20 minutes to answer those questions for us. So if you have specific questions that you might like us to read and to field, you can come to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, comment there, and let us know what you want to know. Maybe I'll ask Andy McCarthy in about 20 minutes. Very cool thing that we're doing right now on the Odyssey app, and I want to remind you to do this right now while the show's starting. You're getting settled. Maybe you're in and out of your car for lunch. Have you downloaded the Odyssey app yet? AUDACY. We are giving away, this is a contest, but the ask here for you to participate in this contest, like what you have to do to enter, is as easy as it gets. If you download the Odyssey app, and you're going to be entered for a chance to win a pair of tickets to see John Mellencamp live and in person April 22nd at the Stiefel Theater. You can log in and listen to 97.1 FM Talk on the Odyssey app for your chance to win. You're going to get an entry for every hour you listen. So tune in right now. If you're listening to us on the radio, we love that. Don't stop doing that. But, just turn your Odyssey app on over there on the side and let it play. Let it run. And do that right now. And a reminder, on the Odyssey app, you can rewind 24 hours prior to that moment you log in. So if you log in at 2 o'clock and you wanted to hear what Andy McCarthy had to say, you can rewind at 12:25 and hear it. Deroy Murdock is going to join us at 1 o'clock as well as usual. And then at 1:25, Amy Jacobson, radio broadcaster on 560 AM, The Answer, out of Chicago, Emmy-winning journalist, mom. Amy's going to join us at 1:25 to talk to us about the momentous news out of Chicago, Illinois, that Mayor Lori Lightfoot concedes.
So thank you and thank everyone so much. I feel a lot of love in this room, as I've felt every step of the way on this journey. I've called Brandon Johnson and Paul Vallis to congratulate them on their victories and advancing to the runoffs.
Well said. That's all I needed to know. I was watching these results as they were coming in last night on the edge of my seat, and the reports that I was hearing yesterday from a lot of people close to the Chicago races that had been paying attention to, as well as Fox News, was saying that it's very possible that Lori Lightfoot not only loses her reelection, but doesn't make the runoff. And that's exactly what happened last night. It warms my heart, Brad. It's not our victory, but in some ways, I'm going to say that it is.
It is, though. I mean, I was looking at this Paul Vallis guy, and if he gets elected and he does what he says he's going to do, which is clean up Chicago's crime problem, that changes the perspective and the main problem that most voters in Chicago see, which opens up other areas to their interest. It frees them of that burden. If that happens, that changes stuff for us, because that means that what we're worried about, what we have to deal with, that now becomes their number one concern as well.
Did you pull the clip, the Brandon Johnson one?
I did.
17. I listened to that on the way into work here, and I was like, what? So I'm going to be honest. My interest in the Chicago mayor race was that Mayor Lori Lightfoot goes down in flames. I want her to go down in the flames of the burning city that she's created. And then I want somebody else to go in there and offer an alternative. There's nobody in this race that is a right-wing Republican. Brandon Johnson.
Paul Vallis is someone who is supported by the January 6th insurrectionists.
No.
He switched parties when President Barack Obama became the president of the United States.
There's just a lot of drama going on there that I don't think a lot of people outside of Chicago have really been paying attention to, because Mayor Lori Lightfoot has been the center of that conversation.
Yep.
Can it get worse than Lori Lightfoot?
Yeah.
Is it Brandon Johnson?
It might be. Like, what Chicago doesn't need is, like, Lightfoot 2.0, Lightfoot harder. You know, they don't need somebody to go heavyfoot. Yeah, they don't need somebody to go heavyfoot over there. They don't need to dive into harder the policies that we're failing. And, you know, they kind of have that opportunity. I don't know too much about Brandon Johnson.
Amy Jacobson's going to tell us at 1:25, because there is a window of time. I think that the race culminates April 4th. I think it's the first Tuesday in April.
Something like that.
And so then they'll have a new mayor. And I can't imagine that the person going into that office is going to look at why Mayor Lightfoot lost and be like, we should do rehabilitation harder. we should go all in on restorative justice. And, you know, what Lori Lightfoot failed to do was take it far enough. Or maybe they do. And I'm going to Chicago this weekend. It'll be interesting to see. I'm going to take in the vibe. I'm going to be in the suburbs. I don't know if I'm going to make it into the city, but there's a possibility that we might try. There's a state basketball tournament for my son. They made the state tournament.
Look at them go.
That's very exciting. And it's kind of ironic because this team is so talented with great boys. A lot of the boys are the same boys that we coached in volleyball. We got third place in the state tournament for boys volleyball. They literally played volleyball for the first time 30 days before they were competing at the state tournament and got third place. They learn fast. We made them learn fast. We're like, believe in it, believe in us, let us coach you, do what we say, you'll get there. You're athletic, you're talented. So it's much more difficult to get into state at basketball, but we've had some attrition, some very, very talented athletes that were on the basketball team at the beginning of the season have made outside of school sports some opportunities, and some other teams that pulled them away, but they've continued to compete. So we're going to go up to Chicago. So we're supposed to play Friday afternoon, late Thursday night into Friday morning. You know, we're supposed to get some weather here.
Yeah.
We're going north. And Arlington Heights, the suburb area of where we're supposed to go, is supposed to get 5 to 8 inches that day.
Oh my gosh.
My husband's going to push me out of the car to keep his sanity on the way up there, because I am not excited to drive in snow. So we're going to just go early. So I won't be here Friday, but we're just going to leave early and take it easy. But I am excited to see if there's any indication around that area regarding the mayor race. And if there is any indication, if we are able to make it into the city, of what people think now. Lori Lightfoot's on her way out. What happens next? Because Vallis, the one who was just accused of being a party to the insurrectionists, what? I'm going to play that clip for Amy Jacobson at 1:25, a little more than an hour from now. And she's on with Dan Proft on 560, The Answer in Chicago. It's the renowned conservative or news talk station in Chicago. I can't wait to hear what she has to say. A lot of people are going to be declaring victory because Mayor Lori Lightfoot lost, but the war is not won. This battle is a big one, and it could be transformative. The YouTube live chat poll for today. First of all, I need to ask Brad, what did we decide?
So,
but you are going to know our answer to this question on this poll based on the conversation we're about to have.
Yeah. I've asked several people.
Okay.
And gotten multiple answers.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Who do you trust the most that you asked?
Well, one was a YouTube legal reporter who was reporting on it. So
you listened to it?
Yes.
What's the name?
Murdaugh.
Murdaugh. Like, hey, you're my dog.
Like, he said it, and I was like, it sounds like, because it's spelled Murdaugh.
I felt like if I were just going to take a stab at it, it was going to be Murdaugh with a G, hard G at the end.
And he used the hard G at the end, so.
Well, the poll is, are you following the Alex Murdaugh trial? And my answer is no. And I think your answer is also no.
It's also no.
And you said, who else did you ask out there?
I asked Trisha.
And she said?
Murdock.
No, it's Deroy, and he's at 105.
Yeah. And then I asked Ryan, and he said Murdaugh. He always hears Murdaugh. So no hard G.
Okay. So it's Murdaugh, Murdaugh, and Murdock.
Yeah.
We don't know. Our answer to this poll is no. But I want to know. We haven't covered it at all. I am not interested in it at all. I don't understand how these stories rise above the daily news cycle to the point where we are going to voyeuristically look at all the stuff. Maybe that's because I'm not paying attention to it, and I've missed the element of this trial that applies to me in my life where I need to know what's going on. Because if it's just like a really, really, really interesting story, I just look at the news right now and I think there are other things that we could be talking about that I feel are more important to more Americans' lives than this one. But it's on the TV all the time. So are you paying attention to it? I need to know. You need to go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel. And if you are paying attention to it and there's an overwhelming interest in it, then I need to do my job and get somebody on here to talk about it. I pray that's not the way this poll goes.
Yeah, no joke.
You know what I did yesterday? I told you. I listened to the entire Ron DeSantis book. Courage to be Free.
That is impressive.
I will play for you on the break what an audiobook sounds like at 2.5 times the speed. I was listening to it in my headphones. I had these Bluetooth headphones as I was walking around the house yesterday. I wanted to do it because I've got a really busy weekend coming up. I'm going to talk to you about Thursday night here before we go to break. And folks, you need to be listening because we need your participation in this. But I've got a lot going on. We're going to go to Chicago. There are several books that I would like to partake in. Audiobooks is the only way that I can get it done because if I sit down and read a book, I will fall asleep. Unless it's nighttime, I'll just get bored. No, I won't fall asleep because that's not helpful. And I was like, I want to read this. I want to interview him so incredibly badly. Brad knows this. And I want to have the book read in the opportunity. If I have all the notes that I was taking when I was going through this, and if I listened to it at 2.5 speed, I think it was a 4-hour commitment. So I was just walking around the house last night with my kids, listening to this thing. You have to focus a lot at 2.5 times the speed. And I had about an hour left when I went to bed last night. It was about 9:45 or 10. And I was laying in bed without my headphones on. And I just had the phone laying on top of me playing. And my husband walked in the room and he just walked in and he stared at me. And he was like, I can turn it off if you want to. He goes, no, I know you need to listen to it. So then I had to slow it down to about 1.75 so it sounded more like a human talking. But I did finish it. It is an incredible book. It is his case for the presidency of the United States. And it's a good one. I'll say that. He's not the only one who's making the case. I have Mike Pompeo's book. I have Nikki Haley's book. I don't have John Bolton's book. Actually, I might have it, but I don't know where it is. So make out of that what you will. But I'm going to try to take in all of these books and just experience what they want to communicate to people through paper and my audiobook. Before we go to a break, tomorrow night,
yes,
talk about it.
So tomorrow night, Jamie Lissow is going to be at the Funny Bone at Streets of St. Charles.
Tomorrow, Thursday on the show,
Jamie Lissow is going to be at the 97.1 studios
here
in the show with us.
At 2:05, Jamie Lissow in studio with the Annie Frey Show, prepping for his return to the streets of St. Charles. But first, of course, he's got to make a stop by the Annie Frey studio at 2:05 on Thursday. Be sure that you were here for that. And that evening, what time is the show?
Show's at 7.
And we're all going. I would love to fill that room with Annie Frey Show listeners. We'll probably get there a little early because a lot of us aren't going to go home from work. I probably won't.
Right.
So if you have, Brad and I both went to his show the last time he was in town. I was crying laughing.
Oh, it's a belly laugh show.
I was laughing so hard. And his interaction with the crowd was so funny. So please consider joining us tomorrow night at the Streets of St. Charles, 7 o'clock show.
7 o'clock show. You'll want to get there before 7, though.
Yeah.
Because it's the way the seating works there is it's not assigned seating. It's like a lounge. So you go in and you find a spot to sit. So you want to get there early and get in line so that you get the best seats.
And we will be there and we would love to meet you. So please consider going to get your tickets. The Street of St. Charles, Funny Bone. Flood them. Get the tickets now because I know that there's a limited amount of space that's left because the show is tomorrow. And we would love to meet you. And I know Jamie will appreciate a packed house and meeting all of you guys. He told us last time he was in town, he said to us that he was, I don't know, he's going from point A to point B, but he was in an elevator with someone. Oh, you're Jamie Lissow. And he's like, yeah, nice to meet you. He goes, I heard about you on the Annie Frey Show today. So we're in his head. He knows who we are, and he'll be in studio with us tomorrow at 2:05. Let's take a quick break. Andy McCarthy is going to join us on the show as soon as we come back. Contributing editor at the National Review, a Fox News contributor, former chief assistant U.S. attorney on the Annie Frey Show about the Supreme Court cases that are being heard. Big news. We're going to get that with Andy McCarthy in a minute.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan. This is number one way for you to be the most competitive offer on a home that you are looking to purchase. Now, when you partner with Stewie, you call him, you text him, 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440, and you say, listen, I'm trying to buy this home. I want to be the most competitive offer out there. How can you help me? Well, when you use the Bagel Loan, you qualify for the Bagel Loan, you don't pay anything in closing costs. And if you've purchased a home before or sold a home before, you know that those closing costs, they kind of hit right at the end. You're really excited. It's like, oh, it's kind of just a punch in the gut, and you got to pay for them, or maybe you're negotiating that with the sale. If you're buying a home and you're using the Bagel Loan, no closing costs. It's not a trick. It's not a gimmick. He doesn't roll them into the loans. You don't pay him. It's that simple. You take that money and you use it for whatever you deem best for you. In your savings account, make a higher offer on the home, whatever you need to do. But you call Stewie and 12-day close. It's incredible. You are going to be the most competitive person in submitting an offer. You're going to get that house. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. You call him, you text him, you Google the Bagel Loan. Make sure you tell him Annie said hi. NMLS number 226715.
Hi, guys. It's Mark with Pineview Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical advancement that has helped thousands of men. Our wave technology is backed by 60 clinical studies, including from Cambridge University. It's been shown to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us now, and not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, but we'll also include something unique that produces powerful results in the bedroom. You're going to love that one, guys. Trust me. This unprecedented offer is worth $600, but it's free to those who call in the next 2 minutes. Call 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your life back. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now to qualify. 314-530-7777.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. Where do you go for your annual eye health examination? Ophthalmology Associates, of course. Doctors Greg Birdie and Ranjan Malhotra. Dr. Robert Bersati, he's the one I saw. Or Dr. Andrew Royer. They are available to you and are there to take care of all your vision needs at Ophthalmology Associates. They're on Manchester Road, a half mile west of 270. Your vision is their business at Ophthalmology Associates. In fact, many of their patients are doctors themselves. That's why they call themselves the doctors, Ophthalmology Associates. Are your eyes itchy and scratchy? It could be more than just allergies. They're the leaders in dry eye diagnosis and treatment. They're the leaders in LASIK and discussing those procedures. And if you're having difficulty reading or driving at night, you have glare from oncoming headlights, could be early signs of cataracts, and they can talk to you about multifocal lens implants. Ophthalmology Associates, youridoc.com.
John Mellencamp is coming to the Stifel Theater on April 22nd, and every hour you log into the Odyssey app, you'll be entered to win. Between now and March 5th, listen to 97.1 FM Talk on the Odyssey app, and you could win tickets to see John Mellencamp April 22nd. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
There has been many news reports and political attention in the last 24 hours focused on whether my office could have done even more than what we did. In other words, even more than multiple requests for Mr. Riley to be taken into custody and for the court to hear our suggestions that, at the very least, he have tighter restrictions. While it is true my office could have done more, to say we did nothing is only disingenuous, but it's willfully ignorant of the reality of our court system.
Well, that's the embattled circuit attorney, Kim Gardner, here in St. Louis at the press conference that would turn into be a pretty hostile press conference last week after she came out and spoke when the Missouri Attorney General said, "We're going to remove you from office if you don't resign." She said, "Make me." And here we are. There are a lot of questions surrounding these Soros-funded circuit attorneys that are placed around, or prosecuting attorneys placed around the country. And anytime I even say the word Soros, I get a lot of pushback from people who maybe prefer Kim Gardner to be in the position to say, "Oh, that's a dog whistle." And the question is, what is the connection there? And what is a Kim Gardner-like circuit attorney doing to the city of St. Louis? Does she bear any of the responsibility for the crime-ridden city that is making businesses leave, making tourists not want to come here, and making people who used to live in this beautiful city want to relocate somewhere else? Well, we're going to ask Andy McCarthy, who joins us right now. We are grateful to have him on as a contributing editor at National Review, Fox News contributor, former Chief Assistant U.S. Attorney Andy McCarthy. Thank you so much for coming back on the show with us.
Annie, it's my pleasure.
I just want to kind of open it up to what you know about this case to let you kind of comment on what you have taken in so far, because St. Louis is not the only place who is dealing with this kind of situation, but the repercussions of having somebody who doesn't want to prosecute crime be the circuit attorney, it's very visible everywhere you go in this city and in the lives of the people who want to be here.
Yeah, this has been a problem that goes back probably a decade, maybe more, where progressives realize that, the best thing to have in especially a city environment, and especially if you're in a kind of a one-party city where it's usually a Democratic city in cities across America where the Republicans aren't really competitive in elections, if you can get the prosecutorial power, that's better in many ways than having the legislature and even the judiciary, because prosecutors decide who gets charged. There's, in most state constitutional systems and in the federal system, nobody can tell the prosecutor who to charge, no matter what the crime is. Legislature can't make the prosecutor file charges. The prosecutors have a lot of power. They determine, the police can be as aggressive as the police want to be, but if the prosecutor won't, move the cases, then bad guys know that the laws are not being enforced. So that's obviously the big problem. You have a lot of these progressives who philosophically don't believe in prosecution, and they're in these offices of chief prosecutors. But, cities can go one way or the other way with this. The two examples I like to use are San Francisco and Philadelphia. In San Francisco, which is about as blue as it gets in America, they had it with Chisa Boudin after a couple of years of non-enforcement of the law, and they used the means that were available to them under state law to remove him from office. On the other side of the country, in Philadelphia, you had Larry Krasner, who was a catastrophe of a Soros-backed progressive prosecutor in his first term, and then ran for re-election and won in a landslide. And unfortunately, I think Kim Gardner seems, if anything, to be, as much of a catastrophe as you could possibly have in a prosecutor's office between, the non-prosecution, between all the scandals that she's been involved in, between, the misconduct. As I understand it, there's an ongoing ethical hearing about her conduct in connection with the case of your former governor. So she sounds like she's a disaster. But when she was up for re-election in 2020, when everybody knew she was a disaster, she won with 74% of the vote.
Yeah.
So, what do you say?
St. Louis has some, reflection to take part in and looking in the mirror to understand. And a lot of the people who partake at the city don't vote from the city because there's a lot of commuting that takes place. But there's no doubt that what is taking place with this prosecutor who doesn't want to prosecute crime, it's a very political move. And I want to give you the opportunity to kind of comment about the Soros funding that goes on in placing these. There's a lot of consistency there. It's not like I think it's $40 million or something to that tune that has been invested in placing people like Kim Gardner with the mentality and ideology that she has into places in the bluest of blue cities that will reelect someone like her with 74%. Is George Soros a real player here, or is that something that people on the right like to bring up to kind of spook people from what's really taking place?
Well, I think it's fair to say it's something of a boogeyman to say Soros, but it's not like he's not involved. The thing is, there's these deep well springs of financing in the progressive movement, and he's very much a part of that, but he's hardly alone. And you are talking about, many players and many organizations, but many, many millions of dollars. And the reason that this prosecutor strategy was so brilliant on their part is that in these one-party cities, Democratic cities, basically the person who gets nominated by the party wins the election, right? And for district attorney's offices, and most of these are elected positions throughout the country, they were always kind of small dollar campaigns because you don't really have to campaign. If the party picks you, you're going to win, right? So for most of the time, these were low 5-figure campaigns. And what the progressives realized is if they came into places and they picked them out strategically and they blew away the field with the amount of money that was available to them. If you're a district attorney and you're used to spending like $30,000 maybe on a campaign, and then someone comes in with $1 million or more, that completely throws out of whack the competition. So what they realized they were able to do sheerly by being able to outspend people was get their people in place. And then once a person becomes, as we've seen with Kim Gardner, she's a great example of it, once a person becomes the incumbent in a one-party city, it's very hard to remove them. They seem to get, because the progressives get out the vote. These are low turnout elections, and they get reelected again and again. So it's a combination of it's a combination of vast funding streams, blowing away the competition with money, and then getting elected and exploiting, the ability of and the benefits of having office.
We're speaking with Fox News contributor and fellow at National Review Institute, Andy McCarthy, on some of the key legal issues that are facing us here, certainly in the city. Nationally, we can pivot to the Supreme Court, if you don't mind. The Biden student loan trial or a hearing that's taking place right now is probably the highest profile one. What are your thoughts on what we think? Is it correct? June is when we would actually get the ruling, but the hearing is taking place right now. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, that's typical. So the court has, their calendar basically runs from the beginning of October until around the end of June. They hear most of the cases on the early end, and then the most difficult ones and usually the hottest numbers get decided the last few days of the court session, which usually is about a week or two. It doesn't go any longer than the beginning of July. So all the cases are being argued now. And this case is a very interesting one because it's like one of these things where if I had a sports analogy to make to it, it's like everybody knows what the outcome of the game should be. And the big question is whether the teams were eligible to play. And what I mean by that is on the merits, I think it's pretty clear that Biden did not have the authority to do what he did. He needed a clear congressional statute in order to discharge and cancel student debt, especially when we're talking about like $400 billion. I mean, almost $500 billion worth of debt. But the question is, in our system, we have this doctrine called standing. And the reason for it is we don't want courts to be making policy that should be made by politically accountable actors. The courts in the federal system are unaccountable politically. We can't fire them if they make a mistake. We can't vote them out of office. They're appointed positions for life or as long as they want to serve. So to make sure that they're not making our policy for us, they're only supposed to be there for people who've suffered actual injuries. So you can't get into court by saying the government's violating the law or I don't agree with what the government's doing. You have to show that you have a unique injury, a concrete, non-speculative injury that's unique to you in a way that you're being harmed like no one else is harming. It's not like the general harm that the whole society is suffering. So the issue in this case is whether they have entities or people who can show that harm. And they have some states in these cases and also some individuals who claim to have been harmed by Biden's policy. In particular, in your state of Missouri, you have an entity that the state government created basically to administer student loans. And the fact that the loans are being canceled means that entity is being denied a lot of revenue that it would otherwise have had. So they can come in and say our injury is different from other people's. And it looks like the court will probably get past the standing question. I think there's at least 5 justices who are not that interested in the standing issue. And if it gets down to the merits, I think the administration should lose.
Yeah. Well, Andy McCarthy, we appreciate you talking to us about both of these issues. I know that the Kim Gardner situation, as the Missouri Attorney General has filed the necessary paperwork to make sure that this court case is expedited. We might have you back to give us your objective, out of the bubble that we're in here in St. Louis, legal opinion. We're always grateful for it. We appreciate you.
Well, thanks so much.
Of course. Andy McCarthy, contributing editor at National Review, fellow at National Review Institute, Fox News contributor, and former chief assistant United States attorney. Interesting conversation about the student loan stuff there, man. I think that the political fallout on this, it's probably brilliant. The president comes out and says before the election, $20,000, make it rain for all the people, the young voters. Who showed up in the midterm? Who showed up? Who was the unpredicted group of people, block of people who showed up to vote in the midterms? It was young people. Is it because of student loans? Probably didn't hurt. I would imagine that probably persuaded a few people along the way. And if you look at what messaging was to younger people and getting out that type of a message to them, it might compel them to come out. So if this court case is ruled on in June or July of this year, and that Trump-appointed Supreme Court, they don't want you to have the help that you need. They're taking that away from you. Politics, blah, blah, blah. And then it's August of 2023. Which is just about a year away from an election. Now you campaign to get people into the House who do want to legislate, to write legislation, pass legislation for things like student loan forgiveness. And you got to elect a Democrat majority in order to get that. And you have to re-elect a Democrat president to sign it. Now it's a campaign issue again, right on time. That's my prediction. I hope I'm right, because then at least the Supreme Court gets us back to where it's supposed to be, putting it in the power of the purse of the House of Representatives. But who knows these days? We're going to take a quick break because there's a really important discussion to come up with Ryan Wiggins. He wants to talk about the Tooth Fairy. And who am I to tell him no? So let's talk about the Tooth Fairy and wonder if Tooth Fairy is subjected to inflation. Is it a good day to lose a tooth? Is it a bad day to lose a tooth? We'll find out from Wiggins when we come back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
Thomas Helbig and the Retirement Advisor Group, another event. I cannot wait to see you there, but you got to sign up. And as I always say, I like to fill that room with Annie Frey Show listeners. So get your seats reserved before the room is packed. The last, 3, 4 that I've been to, the room has been packed. You want to make sure that you reserve your seat. March 21st, it's a Tuesday, and it's at the Frontenac Hilton. It's a beautiful hotel. I love walking in there. It just smells great. I don't know. It's like got that cucumber thing. You walk in and it's beautiful, and this whole event is free, and there are snacks and cookies and drinks and coffee and refreshments. And then you sit down and listen to Thomas Helbig for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, talk about how he can help you protect your retirement. This is a no-brainer. And when you sign up, you are going to get the information you need for the Tuesday, March 21st, Protecting Your Retirement educational event at the Frontenac Hilton. Starts at 6:30 p.m. I'm going to be there at 6. So I'm going to try to meet as many folks as I can from 6 to 6:30. Get there early because I would love to shake your hand. Mark Cox will be there. Mark Reardon will be there as well. But you do have to reserve that seat. For more information, you can call 314-993-9494 or visit them online at retirementkey.com.
Hi, this is Terry Hall, host of the popular radio show for veterans, Vet Time in America. Sundays at 12 noon on 97.1 FM Talk. Our show is all about veterans. We talk with experts. We help you get benefits, how to get more, and what to do if you're not getting what you deserve. Tune in on Sunday at noon. Join the conversation. We take calls. Vet Time in America. Tune in this Sunday at noon on 97.1 FM Talk.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. With warmer spring temperatures, hang your clothes to dry outside instead of using the dryer. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Right? Well, ZipRecruiter has mastered finding a needle in a haystack, so they take it to the next level. They make hiring so simple that it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Here's what it's like to use ZipRecruiter. They have so many qualified candidates that it's easier to find the right ones for your roles. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's a lot of needles. So how do they do it? ZipRecruiter's powerful technology sends you candidates who are a great match for your job, and you can even invite your top choices to apply. So if you want less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
If you want to see better in the new year, there's no better time to call Brenton Vision than right now. Mark Cox here. My friends at Brenton have everything you need to get the crisp, clear vision you've always wanted. Call them at 314-375-2020 or go online today to BrentonVision.com. They are the only team in Missouri to perform all 7 FDA-approved forms of vision correction. That includes modern LASIK, permanent contact lenses, and if you have bad reading vision, they even have treatments for you too. So stop throwing your money away. My wife got lens replacement. She sees perfectly these days, and she loves it. Quit putting it off. If it's standing in your way of achieving your goals and your resolutions, Brenton Vision is here to help. Call them today at 314-375-2020. Tell them you heard Mark Cox talking about it. That's 314-375-2020. Or schedule right now at BrentonVision.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Make sure you're heating your home safely this winter with a heating system check. And for all other heating services, repairs, or if you need a new heating or HVAC system, visit aircomfortservice.com.
22 years of questioning the narrative. Thanks for making 97.1 FM Talk your home for conservative talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
The White House has told you that they are invoking the executive privilege on your behalf today?
I don't believe it's an executive privilege, sir. And again, I think we've submitted the letter for your clarification of what the White House has said.
Well, let me ask
but
you.
It's not my privilege to waive.
Well, I don't think it's anyone's privilege to waive because I don't think it exists, Mr. Lewandowski. I think the whole thing is imaginary. It's like the tooth fairy. You didn't work
my
for the
children
president
are watching.
in the White
Thank
House.
you, Congressman.
Nice. Nice.
Tooth Fairy comes to my house.
Mine too.
And I am impressed by the Tooth Fairy. Are you ready? Are you hey, over here.
Yeah, I'm ready to roll.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
Wiggins.
Oh, Wiggins.
He's back.
Flawless. Yeah, the Tooth Fairy.
When was Corey Lewandowski on trial for in September of 2019?
I don't know, but
That was Jamie Raskin.
The crazy thing is that moment I was getting to know talk radio and I was having to do booking. I texted Corey Lewandowski in the middle of that hearing and didn't know it. That's the only thing I remember from that.
Really, really weird humble brag.
No, it's not even supposed to be a brag. It was just I'm such an idiot that I text the guy. I'm like, hey, can you come on the show? And look up, he's on TV.
Well,
yeah, probably not going to respond to my text.
Jamie
right
Raskin was texting me at that time, so.
Well, a little
bit
of humble brag there.
So
just want to say that.
Apparently yesterday. Please do more Valley Girl stuff like that. Vocal fry.
I want to die when I have to listen to people who speak with a copious amount of vocal fry.
Vocal Annie Frey. We should just do a full segment of it.
The show is Vocal Annie Frey.
Well, okay.
We just decided to call it the Annie Frey Show instead.
Yeah, good point.
Vocal fry is the worst. Ladies, girls, young women, old women. And that's the thing. There are no old women who speak with vocal fry. Okay. Oh, I want to hit myself in the face.
I love it. Did you have to fight it? Is it something that you have to fight to do?
No.
Okay.
Huh?
I just didn't know if that was like you hear it so
my
much.
natural voice?
No, not you, but just in general, young women, you hear that so much that I think people copy it in their vocal patterns.
Young women, yes. It's a.
All right.
I want to hear about the Tooth Fairy.
Yesterday was National Tooth Fairy Day.
February
Apparently.
28th.
Yep.
Oh, wait. Rude. Where is the acknowledgement of the women in the room? It's our month. Not time of the month. We get the whole month.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Wait a second.
Makes a lot of sense.
What do you mean, oh no?
I think you know exactly what I mean.
Everybody knows what you mean by that. Rude, and now I'm mad at you. For the whole month.
Happy Women's
I
Day,
will
ladies.
It's a month, not a day. Get to say it every day.
Yes,
just like
dear.
that.
Happy Women's Month, everyone.
Why do you seem so scared?
Glad to be
why
here.
are you scared?
Yesterday was National Tooth Fairy Day. Crazy funny story this is. Apparently, the cost of a tooth is way, way up from what I should say our household.
Who's surprised?
Delivers. Nobody's surprised by that. But can I just do what was a tooth when you were young, Brad? When you were young, Hannah, can you remember? Because for me, it was the 80s, probably early 90s. Actually, it was late for me because I didn't lose my first tooth till I was in third grade. Can you believe that?
It's not even possible.
It is.
Around third grade with some tiny teeth.
I'm telling you.
I looked like a jack-o'-lantern.
I'm telling you, it was true. Third grade. I was still losing teeth probably in junior high.
You had a very gummy smile.
I do. I've got a great big gummy smile, and my teeth roots go up to my eyeballs.
I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah, what?
Don't you want to know what a tooth costs right now, though?
Yes.
I can't remember exactly, but I think when the Tooth Fairy visited my house, I got either $1 or $5.
Holy
It
smokes!
was
That's a
one
big
singular
difference.
bill.
So it's one or the other. So it was like maybe $1 in the early phase and then
Missouri
$5 by the
Tooth
end.
Fairy doesn't have to pay as many taxes as in Illinois. I mean, it's just out
true.
of control.
It's true. Do you remember?
You guys got paid?
Oh, really?
The Tooth Fairy didn't bring you.
No kidding. What'd they do? Just say, get a job?
Were you a bad boy?
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, that's a rough house, man.
Good job.
I can see why you are the man you are today.
Growing new teeth. You're going to eat more food, so you need to go get jobs. Eating all my food.
That's what your
Ryan,
parents
what
sound
did
like?
the Tooth Fairy bring you when you were
It was in the change. I don't think I even got into the dollar bills.
like a quarter?
It was quarters, I think maybe
Sure.
by the late stages of losing my back teeth, which I didn't
Was
do.
that like last week?
Yeah, it was late. I might have been into dollar bills by then. But what is your household giving right now, Annie? Because I guarantee
I don't
it's
know.
more
It's
than
up to
mine.
the Tooth Fairy.
Well, what is the Tooth Fairy depositing?
I'm not always aware of it. The kids don't always tell me what they get when the Tooth Fairy visits, but I think it's usually about a 4 quarters or something like that.
Good. That's where we're at.
Some V-Bucks.
That's where we're at. We're
Heck
at
no.
$1. Anybody care to guess what the national average for a lost tooth is right now? It's up from last year, I can tell you that.
$20.
$20?
What?
No, you just destroyed this story.
I was off. All right, dang.
Take a guess.
How would he know?
$20? I'm going to say 5.
5 is very close.
I would say $1.
Last that's what I said. $1 seems like very generous for a tooth. In my household, that's what it is. Last year, it was $5.36 per tooth. This year, because of inflation,
The Tooth Fairy's like, God dang it, where's that penny?
He isn't counting it out.
well, this is a national average done by Delta Dental every year. Last year, $5.36. Yeah, it'd be weird to wake up with that exact change under your pillow.
I'm texting Foley Dental right now.
Are you?
FoleyDentalGroup.com to ask when is the latest that normal people lose their teeth.
I would like to know because I'm telling you the truth, and I'll tell
I
that
think
story
all
in a
my
second.
teeth were gone by 2nd grade.
Most people's, well, my kids are in 3rd grade and they haven't lost all their teeth. They've lost a few though, earlier than me. This year, the average tooth, $6.23.
Ooh.
It's up tremendous. I mean, that's a huge year-over-year gain. In 1998, I'm going to guess that's when they started doing this poll, $1.30. So we're way behind. Apparently, everybody else in the country is doing way more than me and Annie are for our kids right now. I mean,
No,
via-
stop. So I've been looking. I just showed Hannah on the website for C.A. Jones. Did you say on the air that you had a dream that I built a house? I was off the air.
No,
right?
that wasn't.
You
I
had a-
didn't say that on air.
You had a dream last night.
That you built your own house.
Yeah, and
It
you
was
said
beautiful.
you said the interior was black.
Yes.
But I went to cajonesinc.com, which sponsors the show. We're really excited about it. But I just while we were having this really important and open, honest conversation. I just designed my own house, and isn't that pretty?
It is beautiful. I want to build one.
CAJonesinc.com. It's the Design Your Own Home tab and the interactive design tool, and you can actually like design stuff on the inside too. Very cool.
Wow.
Are we 5650?
5650.
So next hour we have Deroy Murdock. He's going to come on and we're going to talk. I'm going to ask him a little bit about Chicago and get his reaction to the mayor race. But we're going to talk about some other things, where the Democrats are taking their party going into an election year. But also Amy Jacobson with 560 AM, The Answer in Chicago, radio broadcaster there, a very well respected voice for conservatism in Chicago. Yes, it exists, and it's on our show when we come back in the 1 o'clock hour on the Annie Frey Show. Join us on the YouTube live chat. I'll let you guys answer this question real quick. Are you following the Alex Murdaugh trial? Yes or no, Hannah?
Absolutely not. I didn't know how to pronounce his last name either.
Neither did Ryan, so I guess that's a no for you as well.
No. Well, I keep hearing Murdaugh, and still the answer is no.
Okay. So, all right. Well, let's take a quick break. A reminder, if you upload or if you open up the Odyssey app and follow 97.1 FM Talk, just turn it on and listen to it, because you're going to get an entry to win John Mellencamp live and in-person tickets for April 22nd at the Stiefel Theater for every hour that you listen. Turn that sucker on right now, the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Follow 97.1 FM Talk and the Annie Frey Show and listen and get entered to win tickets. It's pretty simple. It's really simple. Deroy Murdock on the Annie Frey Show when we come back.
You never showed. I gave you everything and never asked for anything.
According to Forbes, 96% of Americans, 96%, lose an average of $111,000 in Social Security income. Learn how you could avoid this in a one-night adult education class. Retirement Planning 101, held at colleges and universities throughout Greater St. Louis. In just 3 hours, you'll benefit from decades of financial planning experience about Social Security, taxes, healthcare and Medicare, investing for income, and so much more. These classes are hosted by financial and tax architects, your retirement professors. If you've saved at least $300,000 for retirement, register now by calling 314-626-8817. You pay zero tuition if you call today. So call 314-626-8817. 314-626-8817.
Michael's Flooring Outlet. You can find them online at igotfloored.com, and everything you need to know about purchasing flooring at Michael's Flooring Outlet, you can learn at that website. But you can also go visit their different locations. I highly encourage you to check out the different types of flooring that they have in their shops, because you can experience the beautiful displays that they have and really kind of get an idea of what something's going to look like on a broader scale under your feet, the way it's going to feel, and also the varying technology of how flooring can stand the test of the trials that you're going to put on top of it. If you're going to have pets running on it and, claws and maybe accidents from pets or accidents from kids, good grief. I have kids running around my house all the time. My floors need to be able to live up to what we are living on them. Michael's Flooring Outlet can walk you through and pair you with the flooring that's going to match your aesthetic and also your budget. Reach out to them and start the conversation today. It's a St. Louis family-owned business. You'll appreciate the opportunity for quality and value at Michael's Flooring Outlet. igotfloored.com.
3 people you should be 100% certain about. Your barber, your plumber, and your tax pro. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and you can be 100% certain about your taxes. We'll get you your maximum refund guaranteed and we'll back your return for life. Don't be kind of certain or almost certain. Be 100% certain. Switch to Jackson Hewitt today and get 50% off tax prep. Limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-826-9895. That's 800-826-9895. 800-826-9895.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A post
9/11 milestone. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The Homeland Security Department is now 20 years old, at a time when President Biden says threats are mounting, not diminishing.
Yet every single one of you answer the call every day. It's not hyperbole to suggest you're heroes.
He also calls Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas a true patriot as Republicans push for resignation or impeachment over the secretary's handling of the southern border. The head of the CIA says new findings do not call into question the real health issues that government personnel and family members have reported around the world from what's been called Havana syndrome. This after an intelligence committee report that some patients have questioned is not a consensus. The report finds no link between the health problems and any foreign adversary. Some patients say that should not be the last word. CIA Director William Burns says the assessment reflects more than 2 years of rigorous and painstaking collection, investigative work, and analysis. The pressure and stress was too much. That bottom line from lead prosecutor Creighton Waters at the murder trial of former South Carolina attorney Alex Murdaugh, accused of killing his wife and son as years of financial crimes began to unravel.
He constantly needs new money coming in, and this has been going on for more than a decade, a constant hamster wheel.
Earlier today, the jury had a field trip to the Hunting estate where the murders happened.
The trip from entry to exit of the Murdaugh property took about 2 hours. The 12 members of the jury, as well as the 2 alternates, walked around and surveyed the area of the kennels where Maggie and Paul Murdaugh were shot and killed. They were also given access to the Murdaugh home. Trial testimony from the defendant had described the home and its views of the kennels in detail.
Fox's Gernal Scott testifying in his own defense. Murdaugh has admitted being a liar, but denies being a killer. America is listening to Fox News.
Is your home's title still in your name? What would you do if you discovered you're the victim of a home title theft and that the one document that proves you own your home is no longer in your name? With Home Title Lock's free lookup service, you can verify your home is still safely in your name. Thieves can now discover the title to your home online. They simply forge your signature on a transfer document stating you sold your home to them. Then they take out loans on your home or sell it to some unsuspecting buyer. Homeowners insurance and common identity theft programs do not protect you. Home Title Lock does. Home Title Lock puts a virtual shield around your home's title to help keep criminals away. First things first, verify your home's title is still in your name with Home Title Lock's free lookup service. There's no obligation. It's absolutely free. Then register your address for 30 free days of protection. Visit HometitleLock.com/free. HometitleLock.com/free.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
The first afternoon of March, and it's quite mild. 68 for the high today with a general increase in clouds. Tonight, some clouds, dry. 38 Thursday, some sun in the morning, but it's a day of increasing clouds again. Some showers late in the day with wind. 55, a solid soaking rain with some heavy rain at times and strong gusty winds Thursday night and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you love good bourbon, we still have tickets left for our whiskey event this Thursday, March 2nd at the Clayton Wine House. The tickets include appetizers and tastings from some of the finest vendors on the market. That's 971talk.com/events. Need to sell your home but not willing to play the wait and see game? Hey, it's Mark Cox here for Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. With Gloria, you have options, including a no-obligation cash offer from one of Gloria Lou's cash buyers. It's simple, it's straightforward, and in many cases, you can receive a cash offer in less than 24 hours. And you can even pick the closing date. With Gloria Lou and her cash offer program, you're always in control. Not ready for a cash offer? No problem. Gloria has a guaranteed sold program that states Gloria will sell your home at the agreed-to price and time frame, or she'll buy it guaranteed in writing. Call her today and ask about her no-obligation cash offer program at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That apply. Gloria and the seller must agree on price and possession date.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Underlaw, we take on the establishment and challenge corporations to be better for the safety of our community.
Call Underlaw Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618 $9 million.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back. Being with us here on Wednesday. We are grateful for your time, and we know it's a choice to be with us. We're grateful you choose us. Reminder, if you stream us on the Odyssey app, every hour you listen to us on the Odyssey app, follow 97.1 FM Talk, you're going to get one entry for every hour you listen to win tickets to see John Mellencamp live and in person on April 22nd at the Stiefel Theater here in St. Louis. Encourage you to do that. Listen to this that President Biden said here recently. I'm listening to this president comment, and I'm paying attention to the context of what he's trying to say and the way he's trying to deliver messages and kind of communicate and relate to people. And some of this stuff is just...
You know, I know most of those songs for a simple reason. As my buddy from Delaware can tell you, when you're involved in the civil rights movement as a kid in high school, I used to go down to the black church. I go to 7:30 Mass. I'm a practicing Catholic. Then I go to 10 o'clock. And then we sit and plan what we're going to do in terms of desegregation. You think I'm joking? I'm not.
I'm listening. I'm like, wow, that's an interesting story. You were there when the civil rights movement was happening and grown, I suppose. When he says you think I'm joking, I'm not. That's when I'm like, you're full of crap. That's the way that these stories go, and they manifest and they carry on. And he just keeps saying them. People keep debunking them. And what are we supposed to do about it? He's the president of the United States. Deroy Murdock joins us right now, nationally syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor. Thank you for being with us today, Deroy. Lots to talk about, but I wanted to get your thoughts on the president's recent comments there when he was celebrating Black History Month at the White House, saying some interesting things.
Annie, well, it's great to be with you again. And yeah, he does say a lot of interesting things. We've got this whole series of comments he's made about being arrested at civil rights protests. That apparently hasn't happened, never happened. I think he said he was arrested in South Africa, either trying to meet with Nelson Mandela or trying to protest for Nelson Mandela's release from Robben Island prison. Apparently that didn't happen. He said stories about being an 18-wheel rig truck driver. That didn't happen. He's told, I don't know, a dozen, maybe 15 or 20 times a story about being on Amtrak with a conductor who I guess was adding up the number of miles he's ridden or something. And apparently the time that he said that took place, that man already had retired or maybe passed away. So I don't know if Biden is deliberately lying or if he really believes this stuff and it's not true, which is even more disturbing. You know, is he a pathological liar or is he sort of a, Walter Mitty type who's living in his own fantasy world? Neither one is terribly encouraging, frankly.
Yeah, it's difficult to take it in and you kind of just sweepingly dismiss a lot of the stuff that he says. And it's just amazing that the president of the United States is somebody who we just kind of roll our eyes and just go about our day because these things fall out of his mouth and it's always politically advantageous to him. But I don't think he realizes that everybody in the room is leaning in, squinting their eyes going, what?
Well, that's right. And then, some of this stuff is kind of, oh, there goes Grandpa again. It's sort of weird but a little cute and, maybe slightly touching or a little sad. But then he comes out and says things like he did about a week or two ago. He said, talking about people, blacks in the South being lynched and hung from trees and shot and buried in earthen dams and all this sort of thing. And he said, and there are people who want to do that now. Like, what are you talking about? Lynching, thank God lynching ended in the 1960s and we don't have lynchings in this country anymore. And yet Joe Biden's talking about, there's a bunch of people out there, I guess they're MAGA Republicans who are ready to go out and lynch blacks again. And this is just ridiculous. I don't know who those people are. And that sort of thing just gets people needlessly divided at each other's throats and ramping up rather than cooling off the level of rancor and acrimony in this country. He said he was going to be the divider. He's going to bring this country together. This is why one of the reasons I think that he's in the White House is he gave people the sense he was going to calm everything down after the tumultuous Trump years. And when you get up and make these kind of comments about Americans are ready to go out and lynch blacks, this does exactly the opposite. So I don't know how you can make those kind of comments and on the one hand, and on the other hand, you say you're the national uniter, not the national divider.
Speaking with Deroy Murdock right now, I'm looking at this article you wrote in The Spectator, the Chicago mayor race. I think it's a very interesting one. Race, not just political race, but race and people's skin color was something that was key and paramount to Lori Lightfoot's plea to Chicagoans. She said it herself that there are all these other black candidates in the race, and they're hurting her chances at being able to consolidate the black vote because she's the one who can beat Vallis in the runoff. She didn't even make the top two. She's not even in the runoff. I'm wondering what you think this says about the way she handled her job as mayor and also what she decided to hang her hat on during this campaign.
Well, I think what it shows is there's a limit even to how far someone can go as a mayor of a very liberal left-wing Democrat city like Chicago. I mean, I don't think Chicago's had a Republican mayor since, 100 years ago, maybe, or something like this. Maybe longer. And I think there's a limit to how much people can take when you've got your rampant crime. You've got these terrible stories of these little kids who are not just shot on their front porches of their parents' homes in Chicago, but there have been several instances of kids who are fast asleep in bed, not selling drugs or engaging in prostitution or gang warfare. They're just fast asleep in bed, and in through a window comes a stray bullet, hits them in their heads, and these kids die while asleep in their parents' beds. I mean, Can you think of anything more horrible than that? And her response to this for 4 years wasn't, well, we need to crack down on crime. We need to get serious about this. It was always kind of a shrug of the shoulders. Well, it's not my problem. Why are you asking me about it? We've seen in recent weeks she was out in a parade dancing in the streets, and then she was last fall promoting a karaoke competition by singing Sweet Home Chicago in some little goofy TikTok video. And people see that sort of thing and think, all right, you're incompetent, number one, and number two, you don't care, or number three, you don't care that we know you don't care. And at that point, people say, all right, you're out of here. And she gets 17% of the vote, and will be gone by May 1st, I think it is, or sometime in May, and not a second too soon. So I think the lesson of Lori Lightfoot is that, you can be an incompetent liberal Democrat, but only to some extent. At some point, even that gets to be too much for a liberal Democrat city like Chicago.
Deroy Murdock with us right now. You've probably heard about the Missouri Attorney General, Andrew Bailey, moving forward to remove Kim Gardner, the circuit attorney here in St. Louis. I'm not sure if I should have given you a heads up on this. So if you haven't seen it, just say so. But have you been connected with that video that's circulating social media right now? Took place Monday morning here in St. Louis. A homeless man sitting on a curb, executed by another man who's fiddling with a gun.
I saw a clip of it, but I've not seen the whole thing. I've seen it on the news, and then they stop it before the trigger's pulled.
So you're aware of this. I mean, the interesting, sad, tragic thing about this story is there's a lot of crime in St. Louis. There's, of course, we're talking about the crime that's in Chicago. We have the same type of problem here that Chicago has. We're regularly the murder capital of, I don't know, the universe or something. And we are showing these videos. Somebody was holed up in their office. They'd called the police to get the police out there because this man, by the time the video starts, the man had already been shot once. They'd been fighting across the street. He'd been shot once, and the guy is standing there fidgeting, trying to get the gun unjammed or something like that. And then he just puts his hand down and executes him on the street. It was 10 a.m. on a Monday morning. I drove up. Wow. That's the road that I drive to work every day. It's 2 blocks from where I'm sitting right now.
Oh my God.
It was casual. It was horrifically casual, the way that was put in play. And I'm very leery to say, elect Republicans and we will just fix all of these problems right now. It seems as though we have a culture rot to take care of as well.
Well, I think there is a cultural rot. We've had 50 years of moral relativism, situation ethics, et cetera, that kind of thing. We're in a situation now. If you go to anybody and say, you really shouldn't do that. That's not good behavior. Oh, you're shooting him to death, and who are you to do this? And who are you to impose your paternalistic, maybe white values on people if that's the case. If you're a black person who says it, then I guess you're acting white values, if you will. So that's a problem. But I do think if you have political leadership who will do things which apparently Kim Gardner doesn't really find very interesting, which is prosecute criminals. you'll find people who should be locked up or stay locked up rather than people who should be locked up or out running free, like that young man who hit that young lady in St. Louis, your town, 10 days ago, I guess. Smacked into her, I think, hit a car. The car hit her, busted her legs, and now she came to St. Louis to play volleyball in a competition, and she's going home with her legs missing. Oh, my God. Can you think of anything more horrifying or awful and tragic than that? And this guy was arrested, put on bail, and then I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, had something like 50 bail violations, one after another. And no judge said, all right, you're done, no more bail for you, you're going into prison. It's like, okay, you got another chance, you got a second chance, you got a 35th chance, you got a 43rd chance, you got a 50th chance. And after 50 chances, he runs into this poor young lady, and she's now going to spend the rest of her life with two legs missing.
Yeah.
So, I think, Republicans don't necessarily have a perfect answer to everything, but more conservative-oriented prosecutors and judges tend to do things like prosecute and lock up criminals rather than come up with excuses and apologize for them, set them loose to go terrorize, maim, or sometimes kill more people.
Yeah. I want to ask you before I let you go, because we're talking about a lot of problems that are consistent with Democrat-controlled cities, but they're also very largely populated, condensed areas. They just there are Democrat-controlled cities that don't have these problems the way some of the other ones do. But there is a consistency, there is a relationship there that would be foolish not to pay attention to. And so we can point our fingers and we can blame the people who are in charge. It's responsible to call people out who are not handling their business. But when it comes around to election time, the Republicans are going to have to stand for something. There's going to have to be something that entices people to consider voting Republican, especially in a place like St. Louis. 74% of the vote that Kim Gardner got in her reelection. There's going to have to be something that entices people to consider an alternative that they haven't considered before. And I'm curious if you think the Republican Party is equipped to do that.
I think it is. It's got to go out and make the case, on things like crime. You got to have people get up and say, look, when we say lock up criminals who engage in carnage or murder or just armed robbery, whatever it might be, some people say, oh, this is terrible, and oh, you're targeting blacks. No, what you're trying to do is protect people from criminals, including a lot of black folks who are victimized by criminals. These are not just folks who go out in the white suburbs and terrorize white folks. A lot of folks who are victims of crime are black people disproportionately. They deserve a voice. They deserve somebody to defend them. When it comes to the school system, a lot of the kids who are in schools that don't learn anything are in inner city areas as opposed to suburban areas where kids tend to get better educations. And the folks who are running the downtown inner city big urban cities and minority areas tend to be liberal Democrats in city hall, city council, school board, and they're the ones who are lording over schools where nobody learns anything. In Chicago, going back to Lightfoot, there are 18 different high schools in Chicago where all government schools, not one student is proficient in math and not one student is proficient in reading. Zero. Both. No reading, no math. Not one kid. And you look at, we're not spending enough money. The average per pupil spending in those schools is $23,000 per annum, to about $2,000 a month per kid. And you can't find not one little boy or one little girl who's reading or doing math at grade level. That's pathetic. And if you want more of that, then keep voting these people in office. You want to put an end to that, then perhaps think about voting for a different candidate you haven't supported before, including maybe a Republican.
Yeah, you have to make the case because clearly Kim Gardner's her first go around as circuit attorney was horrific, and 74% of people are like, "Yeah, you can have another term." It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Awful.
Deroy, thank you. We love speaking with you. We appreciate you giving us more of your time this week.
All right, very good, Annie. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
You as well. Bye-bye. He is a nationally syndicated columnist and Fox News contributor. Brad, I am getting so worked up with the video of this murder downtown for people who are mad at this person for shooting that video.
I think, honestly, short of being able to, there's no guarantee that person who shot the video had any ability to defend that man's life. There's a chance that man could have been laying, or whoever shot that video could be laying on the street next to that man if he tried to. A
good chance. A couple of things that people have consumed this video. It's been seen countrywide, which there is something to be said for that.
Yes.
This man was brave to shoot this video. I mean, braver if let's just put it this way. If that video had been taken by Jared, my husband, and I find out that he took that video, I'm going, why did you not get the heck out of there? Why did you not run? Why did you stay to do that? That might have been because for one reason and one reason only, he needs to come home to me and his family. People are commenting ignorantly on Twitter, which is where I'm consuming a lot of it because that's where the video has been shared the most. Why is he on the phone? Why isn't he calling the police? They called the police.
Right.
The police were called. And people so judgmentally and ignorantly go in on saying that this guy is, I mean, literally using the terms, he's an accomplice to the murder because he didn't call the police. He did. You don't have that information. You are jumping to judgment and making somebody who was terrified, hidden in the building. The guy had already been shot once before the video was started. Right. They did call the police. And the world knows about this now because they videoed it.
That's exactly the point I was going to make. The thing that he did, or whoever this was that did that, I keep saying he because I think it sounds like a guy's voice in the video, but was he put a spotlight on it. Like the brazenness. We talked about the callousness and the casualness of it in the middle of the day in St. Louis. This person put a spotlight on it, and people like Deroy Murdock have seen the clip. It's played on news shows. People have gone in on it. That's going to affect change. You know, and like everybody out there is a hero, and everybody thinks that like,
what do you think you are, Batman?
Well, right. And that's my thing too. Like I don't understand why people think they know how they're going to react in that situation if they've never been in that situation before. How many people out there honestly really have stared down the barrel of a gun?
I have.
You know?
You know why? In St. Louis at 8:30 a.m. on stop traffic, locked in, nowhere to go because I was on the Stan Musial Bridge. This is my comment in context of what this person was dealing with and these Monday morning quarterbacks from all over the country who are like, how could you stand there and video? That's what's wrong. That is not what's wrong with this picture.
No.
That is not what's wrong with this picture. And guess what? You don't get St. Louis. You don't get how just normal Monday that was in St. Louis. And if you think that this is shocking to see, I'm glad you do. I'm glad you don't live in a world or in a community or work in a city where literally driving to work, you can drive past somebody. You drive this road every day.
I drive that road. I drove that road that day.
Yes.
I was sitting in the office when that happened.
And I was coming to work and got diverted by the crime scene tape that was taped all around. I had to divert my ride to work. I was on the phone with my mom. I go, whoa, what's going on here? There's a crime scene here. You could ask her. I was like, I'm looking for bodies because of the way everything was set up. It had just happened. If you think that while that guy was fiddling with a gun, you're going to come running out of that building and tackle that guy and save this other man's life, there are going to be 2 dead bodies. We cannot get on our keyboards and battle and judge and look at that video and come away with this guy is an accomplice to murder. That this person who is maybe listening right now, you need to know you should feel no guilt. I know that you're traumatized by this. I know this because I know people who know this person. Do not feel like you did something that you shouldn't have done or didn't do something that you should have. This city has failed you. It failed that individual. And anybody who says otherwise is a moron. I'm so furious about it. Brad, you and I both understand how to use a weapon.
Yes. Train. Practice. Keep
Yes.
going.
Confident.
Yeah. Second nature's the goal, right? So it just happens. I still don't know what's going to happen if I'm in that situation because I'm not in that situation.
And this person's casual behavior to murder that person, you think they're going to think twice?
Didn't even think twice about it when he shot the person sitting on the he's sitting on a curb with his hand up like, hey, please don't do that.
And what we understand is he had been shot already at that point.
Yes.
The gun had already been fired.
And then all these other people, it's 40 seconds of video and they know everything that happened in there.
No, they clearly don't.
That's ridiculous.
The cops were called. The gun had been fired. Please, please keep your eye on the ball, folks. If those people were scared, you're darn right they were scared because this was a Monday morning in St. Louis. That's the problem. Do not take your eye off the ball. Otherwise, we'll just all destroy each other from our keyboards. It's disgusting. We're going to take a quick break. I want to talk to Amy Jacobson when we come back. She's a radio broadcaster on 560 AM, The Answer in Chicago, an Emmy Award-winning journalist. She's a mom as well, and she is going to give us the lowdown on the Mayor Lori Lightfoot fail. I am so mad that Brad tweeted the L flag last night before I thought of it. I was so disappointed in myself. I'm proud of you, Brad. It was a good tweet.
It's a great tweet.
Fly the L. Who are the candidates that's left? Does Chicago have the hope to make some actual effective change in this election? Amy Jacobson breaks it all down for us when we come back.
So don't delay, act now, supplies
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
If you follow the lead, we got tomorrow, but if we are the shun, we might as well be walking on the sun.
RulerFoods.com is the website where you can locate the Ruler Foods that's closest to you. I can't afford to not save money on my groceries. I don't care how much money I'll ever have. I'm always going to want to pay less for those common things I put in my kitchen if I can. Ruler Foods allows you to do that, to shop in a very nicely laid out, organized grocery store where the money, the bill that you have at the end is just less than where you're going to shop anywhere else. I want to talk to you about their 3 bags of clementines or Kroger apples, $2.97. Kroger 80% lean ground beef sold in a 3-pound roll, $2.99 a pound. Corned beef and boneless thin pork chops, $3.97 a pound. A&W Canada Dry Ginger Ale or RC Cola 6-packs, 4 for $11 when you buy 4. Plus, they have great deals on pasta sauce, Kroger pasta, Ruffles, Tostitos. Save money when you shop at Ruler Foods. You get Kroger brand foods at Ruler Foods prices, plus all the name brands that you normally shop. Lots of them are going to be there. Give them a try. If you haven't, gone through the door yet and seen what Ruler Foods can offer you, you owe yourself the opportunity. Go online and find the location nearest you at rulerfoods.com.
Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Did you know that you can list your home with a full-service real estate brokerage for only 4%? Straight Realty is licensed in Missouri, and we would love to talk to you about a winning strategy to get your home sold while saving you money. Call us at 314-441-4444, 314-441-all-4s. Call us at 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 4?
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Frey, and Mark Ridden, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, March 21st at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Seats are limited, so go online to retirementkey.com. Here's Thomas with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and sick of losing so much money in your retirement accounts? Did you know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your 401k tax-free and protect your nest egg from any more losses and still generate more income than most investment options? Would you like to know how linking to the market instead of owning the market is so much safer for your retirement nest egg? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you don't want to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, Tuesday, March 21st at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. March marks the beginning of spring, and warmer temperatures means you can do more outside. Hang your clothes outside to dry instead of using the dryer. Not only will you save electricity, but your clothes will get that fresh outdoor scent. It's also a great time to walk or bike to destinations that are close by instead of driving. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
People who shop at Diamonds Direct for diamonds and engagement rings can't believe the prices.
They blew everybody else out of the water.
I saved between $1,500 and $2,000. Came here first, got a really good price, went around everywhere else, and it wasn't really even close.
I'd looked online. I'd actually shopped a couple of local stores. They could not begin to touch the size, the quality, or the pricing.
Crazy the deal that we got. Couldn't believe I was able to get into a ring like this.
Of all the places that I visited, everybody from mom and pop shops to wholesalers to local franchisees, no
nobody could compete from a pricing standpoint with Diamonds Direct.
It's because Diamonds Direct is a true direct diamond importer with special access to the world's most exquisite diamonds. No middleman markups and a commitment to beat any price, anywhere, anytime.
Whether it be duty-free in the Caribbean or other countries, Diamonds Direct prices have beaten everything I've looked at.
At least 20% lower than what we had been looking at other stores.
They blew everybody else out of the water.
Get the engagement ring of her dreams at the price you deserve. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. DiamondsDirect.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Missouri Congressman Ann Wagner is back with us.
This communist dictatorship of China, the CCP, wants to be a world power and wants to take us down.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
I come from the heart of the heartland.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Where the corn grows and rolls and rolls, with summer greens and winter snows, and it goes on through the crack of the bat. Oh, everybody rolling out their welcome mat, and our hands on our hearts under the stars of the Friday night flag. And all the heart will wander.
So thank you and thank everyone so much. I feel a lot of love in this room as I've felt every step of the way on this journey. I've called Brandon Johnson and Paul Vallis to congratulate them on their victories in advancing to the runoffs.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I could just play on loop. Lori Lightfoot conceding the race. She did not make the runoff, and the rest. Is that the cheers from the crowd? I really appreciate the fact that there are other candidates in the race who were able to beat her, but we don't know outside of Chicago a whole lot about these candidates who now may be able to secure this very, very important spot in getting the city of Chicago back on track. That's why we're going to our friend Amy Jacobson. She's a radio broadcaster on 560 AM The Answer, an Emmy Award-winning journalist. She's also a mom like me, and she has a special interest in Chicago getting back to a place where people feel safe to go and to visit. Amy, thank you for coming on the show with us today. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it as well. So, she gave her concession speech fairly early. I thought maybe she was going to be contesting the election results, but she didn't, and she came out about 8:44 and was very humble. You could tell she had been crying because I've been around her enough to know when she's crying and when she's not. And she conceded. I mean, she just, and she called Paul Vallis and said, good luck to you, and same with Brandon Johnson. And the bottom line is she brought this upon herself. She could have easily have made the runoff if she just would have governed differently. She was such a tyrant. She just would not stop. When there was the whole debacle about the Columbus statue, she told the Italian Chicagoans that she is the biggest schlong in town, but she didn't use the word schlong.
Yeah.
She's like, so you better listen to me. So everything was just a dictatorship. And there was no, she plowed through communications directors. Anybody who pushed back against her was fired, basically, or asked to leave. And that's how she governed. And on her 2-year anniversary in office, she would only talk to black reporters. And I said to her, well, what am I supposed to do, Mayor Lightfoot, Madam Mayor? I can't change the color of my skin. What am I supposed to do? And she said, well, you should go back and tell your bosses that they need to hire more minorities. And I said, well, that's not my business, and that's also not your business. So she just did things like that just eventually wore on people, and they didn't vote for her. I mean, she only got 83,000 votes.
Yeah.
She came in third.
So, Amy, you've been in these conversations with her. You've been a member of the press that has had to interact with her. You're talking about the way she handled her business. If she were to handle her business this way, but have the receipts to say, no, I've done, like, scoreboard, look at it, I'm doing a great job for the city of Chicago. She didn't have that. So you put those things together, that equals third place. Where's the city now after Mayor Lori Lightfoot is leaving compared to where she started?
Well, I've done several interviews today, and everyone's, celebratory, like, oh, the woke is gone. And I'm not celebrating it. I woke up feeling sick to my stomach because we have a worse choice in Brandon Johnson. He is an absolute Marxist. He is from the suburbs he's from Elgin and Aurora. I don't know if you guys know the Chicago area. And in 2018, they put him there because he's a created candidate, and he's good. I mean, he is the son of a pastor. He's tall. He dresses very well. He sells his progressive agenda very, very well. But they put him on the west side in 2018 so that he could be a Cook County commissioner, and he won that seat. But he works for the Chicago Teachers Union. Like today, he is on their payroll as a community organizer, and he makes $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
And so if he wins, the CTU is going to be running the city of Chicago. The CTU, Stacey Davis Gates, the president, is going to be on the 5th floor calling the shots. It's pretty scary stuff.
Yeah, I think that's important. We kind of discussed this a little bit earlier in the show today because the defeat of Lori Lightfoot is a referendum on Lori Lightfoot and the way she handled her business. But you do have Paul Vallas and Brandon Johnson. And like I was saying earlier in the show, we don't really know much about them. Vallas had 172,000 votes. Brandon Johnson was about 70,000 less. Lori Lightfoot got 87,000. Is Brandon going to absorb all of Lori Lightfoot's votes and be victorious here?
I got to tell you, because I interviewed her, on a regular basis, and she, say what she wants about Paul Vallas, but she that's a strong word. She loathes Brandon Johnson. And she even said, if Brandon Johnson wins, people are going to be moving out of this city because he wants a head tax for corporations. He wants a commuter tax for, people from the suburbs coming to the city. We barely have anybody here anyway filling our buildings. He wants a hotel tax. And he wants to tax everybody who makes $100,000 or more, 3.5% tax increase. And so, I mean, it's taxes every day. But the biggest part is he's a defund policer.
Wow.
He doesn't want to hire, 1,000 police officers right off the bat. He said, no, he wants more mental health experts to go to domestic violence calls. I mean, we all know how that's going to end, right?
Sure.
I mean, those are the most deadly calls. It's the call that police officers dread the most. Are domestics because they're horrible, violent situations that are unpredictable. So I'm just not celebratory at all. I would much rather have had Lightfoot against Vallas in the runoff. Paul Vallas, former CEO of CPS, he left us with a $1 billion surplus. I know he's a Democrat, but he's reasonable and if he's fiscally responsible, I believe, and I think he's for school choice. And anyone leaning who's a moderate Republican or even a conservative, that one issue of school choice will hopefully convince them to vote for him. But it's racial politics right now. That's how it's going to be. Paul Vallas last night gave a gracious speech. He thanked the mayor. He never even said his opponent's name. It was more thanking his family. His son came back from Afghanistan alive. He said this is the best day since he came back safely from Afghanistan.
Wow.
Was so gracious and nice. And then Brandon Johnson gets up there and accuses Paul Vallas of being a January 6th insurrectionist and saying that everybody who voted for Paul Vallas is a January 6th insurrectionist.
Yeah.
And then accused him of claiming that he's killing puppies. I mean, it was so bizarre, just a bizarre evening. But it was, he's a ruckus crowd. He's a great, he can rile up his crowd and they were into it and they were, playing dance music. They were having fun. It's the shiny new object in the room. It's the Lori Lightfoot from 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's kind of a devil you know situation versus the one you don't. Amy Jacobson with us right now. She's a radio broadcaster on 560 AM The Answer. I'm sure a lot of people, and you're used to this, people pointing at Chicago, talking about the crime and the murder rate and all that. I'm sitting in the city of St. Louis, so I will not point fingers up north. And there are so many stories emanating out of St. Louis right now that are just unbelievable, kind of saying, Chicago, here, hold my beer, when it comes to violence, crime, prosecutors that don't like to prosecute crime. How much does the crime situation in Chicago influence how people are going to show up to vote on April 4th?
It should be everything. I mean, we only had a 33% turnout yesterday. That's abysmal. We should have had at least 50% turnout. We have 1.5 million registered voters, and we only had that. We had 500,000 plus or minus a few vote yesterday. But crime is everything. I mean, our prosecutor is the same like yours, and I know she's under fire by your governor, which is great. Ours isn't. Right now, currently, we have 98 people who committed violent attacks on people, either put a gun to somebody's head while they stole their car or rape, who are out on electronic monitoring. And let me tell you the situation. When you're on electronic monitoring in Chicago, You have 48 hours off. It doesn't matter if you killed 5 people, if you're on EM. You can go do whatever you want to do for 48 hours. As long as you're in your house for 5 days straight, then you get 48 hours off. And so guess what happens? Last year, 94 people were victimized. 25 died by people who were on electronic monitoring. Murders that were easily preventable if Kim Foxx, our Cook County State's attorney, would have kept them in jail until their trial and denied them bond. So that's the situation we're living with. And all our police officers, Brandon Johnson says, my family, we've had to, we live on the west side. Like he's so down with the struggle. We had to duck during gunshots. Well, guess what? I live on the north side, and I've had to duck 3 times this year because of gunshots.
It's unbelievable.
And I tweeted off. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Amy Jacobson, Jacobson. Yeah, we've had the same thing. It's everywhere. We have 77 neighborhoods. Every neighborhood has suffered an increase in crime and carjackings and smash and grabs. And it was all under Lightfoot's watch because during the George Floyd riots, she had a stand down order. And we have never recovered since then.
Yeah. It's very frustrating for me specifically. Do the radio show in St. Louis. I'm sitting in a red state right now, but I live across the river. I live in Illinois. I live in Southern Illinois. And the conversation surrounding Chicago, anytime politics come up, there's for downstaters very much so. Chicago is kind of just wash off. Nothing's going to ever change. It's always going to be the way it is. Of course, there's the conversation about separation. I don't really get behind that because Illinois needs Chicago financially, but we need to do it right. I'm wondering what your thoughts are, Amy, before we let you go. As somebody who is in Chicago, who has a conservative mind about you, what's the future for this state? What's a workable future for this state? What's realistic?
The only way we'll have law and order and get the shops back on Michigan Avenue. And State Street is deserted. I wish, if any of you ever come up here and drive down State Street, it's just awful. The only way is if we get Kim Foxx out of office or if we get a mayor who will talk to her and convince her to do something to get her to change her ways. Because you could put 10,000 police officers on the street, but if you've got a revolving door at 26 and Cal or in Cook County State's Attorney's Office, it's not going to matter. And I don't know what her problem is. I don't know, but she's George Soros funded as well. And so she wants the jails clean or cleared. She wants to keep as minimal people in prison as possible because most of them are people of color or black, whatever she said. I mean, it's just absolute ridiculousess.
Yeah. Missouri, it's kind of, it feels very
it's the same.
Frustrating because in Missouri we have a supermajority of Republicans in Jefferson City. We've got a Republican governor. They're doing things about this, what they can do at least. And I know in Illinois it seems very hopeless. Before we let you go, Amy, is there a benefit for people who want to help Chicago, who may have a heart for Chicago to support Vallis? Is there anything that you would recommend people do?
Just if they can donate, if they want to. I don't tell people how to spend their money, but yes, I always make suggestions.
Yeah.
Donate to his campaign if you can. It's vallisformayor.com, and his name is Paul Vallis. He is a Democrat. He's not a Republican because that's what Brandon Johnson is going to paint him as, a Republican. But he's reasonable, and he is our only hope. He is our only hope.
He'd make a difference?
For the city of Chicago. Oh, he's the only person that will make a difference.
Amy Jacobson, we appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for coming on with us.
Thank you. God bless.
God bless you as well. Amy Jacobson with 560 The AM, The Answer in Chicago, a conservative talk station there, news talk station, giving us some of her time from the inside in Chicago. Great to speak with her on that issue. This is kind of what we discussed earlier. Mm-hmm. Mayor Lori Lightfoot's out. High five, everybody. That's awesome. Now what?
Yeah, you said, Kate, get any worse? And I'm like, I don't know, but maybe.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it can absolutely get worse.
Amy's suggesting that it could get definitely worse. So, yeah, I don't know if it's your thing to support or whatever, but I'd get tuned into it because defeating Mayor Lori Lightfoot is a good thing for the city of Chicago. But they absolutely need to do something, to put somebody in there. I mean, if Chicago can somehow or another, even in small incremental ways, right the ship. I mean, good grief. In St. Louis, we've had races where that the person who's running for office isn't a strong Republican, or sometimes they're not even really a Republican. Well, the county exec situation was kind of similar to that. So you have to work with what you've got. And I'm praying for Chicago to stick the landing on this. I think it would be amazing to see somebody else have, no pun intended, a stab at it.
Well, it's this, what you've been doing isn't working. So the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. Try something different.
Well, but we also have to understand that the machines that operate these elections, and I'm talking political machines, I'm talking the people who understand how to get turnout, who understand how to motivate and move people, you got to show up on the other side of Brandon Johnson, even though they're both Democrats. There has to be a movement to get the turnout out, because clearly in this one of Amy's points was that did not happen in this election yesterday. So great to have Amy on here. Appreciate her time. Let's take a quick break. A reminder, if you open the Odyssey app right now, have you downloaded it yet? Well, it's how you keep 97.1 with you everywhere you go, like a stalker. AUDACY is the app. You download it. You follow 97.1 FM Talk. And if you're listening to it right now, every hour that you listen, you're going to get an entry to win a pair of tickets to see John Mellencamp live and in person on April 22nd at the Stifel Theater. I don't know how many people are going to do this, but if you open your app, let it run, let us keep you company throughout the day, get those entries in. Absolutely a great opportunity to win tickets. Take a quick break. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFreyShow.
CAJonesInc.com is the website. We were talking about this a little bit at the end of the 12 o'clock hour. I love the Design Your Home tool on the CAJonesInc.com website. I have built myself here a beautiful Arlington A layout. Brad, I'm going to show this to you. Here's the dream house. What do you think about that?
Oh, that's fantastic. I
Doesn't
like
it look
that.
nice?
I do like that.
White and black. It's kind of the color scheme of the house I grew up in. You get to pick the color of the shingles, the shutters, the window trim, the front door, the color of the brick if it's painted, and really get an idea of what your home with C.A. Jones is going to look like. If you're thinking about building in Illinois, C.A. Jones, they are the people to go. Energy efficiency is a huge part of what they do. They're very well versed at it. It's going to help you save money over the years and years that you may spend in that beautiful house that you are going to make your very own home. Learn more about this interactive design tool on the C.A. Jones website. And even if you're not thinking about building, it's fun to do and play around with. Go to CAJonesinc.com.
Hi guys, it's Mark with Pineview Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical advancement that has helped thousands of men. Our wave technology is backed by 60 clinical studies, including from Cambridge University. It's been shown to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us now, and not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, but we'll also include something unique that produces powerful results in the bedroom. You're going to love that one, guys. Trust me. This unprecedented offer is worth $600, but it's free to those who call in the next 2 minutes. Call 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your life back. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now to qualify. 314-530-7777.
If you need a new fence or deck, experience matters. At Chesterfield Fence and Deck, they've been at it since 1968. Mark Cox here. If you want the sign you have the very best, go to Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Visit their extensive showroom there in Chesterfield. They'll give you free in-home estimates, no obligation, even free project design. Their fences are made in the USA. They're wood, vinyl, or aluminum, even steel and chain link, and their decks are beautiful natural cedar. Plus, they have that Vecadec vinyl decking, which is the strongest in the industry, with no maintenance. They also do custom sunrooms and screen rooms and pergolas. You'll want to find out more about Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Go online today to chesterfieldfence.com. Mention Mark Cox, and you'll get a special discount for the month of February and March. chesterfieldfence.com, or call them today at 636-532-4054.
Authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com.
How might this week's big stories impact your portfolio? Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale with Stifel. Join me and fellow Stifel financial advisor Eric Robert during On the Money every Saturday from 11 till noon right here on 97.1 FM Talk. Stifel, member NYSE and SIPC.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Connect with the personalities and give your feedback. 97.1 FM Talk is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For content that's additional to the radio, join us there.
It's a Friday, we finally made it. I can't believe I get to see your face. You've been working, and I've been waiting to pick you up and take you from this place. Love on the weekend, like only we can, like only we can. Love on the weekend, I'm coming up. I'm loving every minute of it.
So I just stumbled across this on my Facebook. I was checking my Facebook on the break. And the Major League Baseball has a post up. And I guess you just have to do these things. It's MLB. Whether it's on the field or off the field, women belong in baseball. Throughout hashtag Women's History Month, we'll be celebrating the talented women who make our game great. Okay, well, I respect that. There are a lot of women who work in Major League Baseball.
For sure.
Whether it's on the field or off the field, women belong in baseball. Make the freaking cut.
Yeah, that's kind of like, okay.
If a chick comes in and she can throw 102 miles an hour and strike out the best batters in baseball, she's getting a uniform.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're going to be fighting over signing her because people are going to come to see that.
Yeah, she's going to make a lot of money.
Yes. Probably like 70%. But I'm just saying. So I go to the comment because I'm like, okay, Major League Baseball, like you're doing your thing. You're acknowledging Women's History Month. I am a believer that all of these Women's Month and Black History Month and stuff, that they're more about giving companies a way to get credit for acknowledging things once a year. I mean, honestly, these social media posts are probably scheduled out potentially months in advance.
Did they change their Twitter profile emblem to pink or something like that?
So offensive. I hate pink. Don't ever, my husband knows this, don't ever buy me a pink Cardinals hat. The hat is red or maybe navy blue.
Speak on it.
There is no pink in Cardinals, nothing.
Nope.
If you like a pink Cardinals hat, I have no problem with you wearing your pink Cardinals hat. But I want the Cardinals hat. You don't give me a Cardinals hat. I'm just saying. But you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
But Megan, somebody, comments on this post because it's like, okay, I got to go to the comments. Just like anytime. ESPN will put up, and listen, I was a 4-sport athlete through my senior year of high school. I did volleyball, basketball, softball, and track. I am a female athlete in my mind, much more than my physical body anymore. I mean, I guess I box. It's kind of athletic, but I'm not great at it. And I love that women get to participate in sports. I love that girls get to participate in sports. I don't love that men get to participate in girl sports. I am a protector of this. I actually don't talk about it on the air, even though it's been a kind of a big topic, because I kind of become what I feel is just a little bit on the irrational side because it makes me so mad. And I don't want to overdo it. And everyone's like, no, Annie, please overdo it. But anyway, Megan says her comment to this is, support women by getting rid of the idiotic new rule changes and implementing the electronic strike zone. Tired of watching the men in charge ruin baseball. Okay, well, that was deep. Listen to Kurt Schilling here.
I could be wrong, but as a player rep, I was always very concerned about one word, and that was collusion. Right? You're talking about
because it happened.
Right. And now you're talking about getting a revenue economic disparity group together to talk about spending money.
About Steve Cohen.
Exactly. And so what they're talking about is suppressing or depressing potentially salaries is what they're going to be discussing. I mean, anybody denying that's lying. How do you do that without committing collusion, number one. And number two, the sport is almost, I believe, north of $10 billion a year in revenue. If the owners want to bring the disparity, just share revenue. Share all the revenue. Put it in a pot and divide it 30 ways. They'll never do that.
You can't get the big markets to
They'll
share.
never do that.
Football does.
So, of course, baseball is what? About money. It's a business. It should be about money. And there's always a question about who's getting what chunk of the money and so on and so forth. But the big question that's on a lot of people's minds, if you've watched any spring training baseball, I have watched at least one full game of spring training baseball, and you've noticed some of the new rules that they've put into place. It's rough.
The pitch timer, and I say this, and I think this is one of the quotes that people are enjoying from me. The only people that the pitch timer will affect are pitchers that suck. If you go back and look at Maddox, you look at all the great pitchers in history.
Go quick.
It's part of your arsenal. That's a weapon.
You hate when guys step out.
Well, but that's the only way to break a pitcher's tempo. Now, that's not, to me, as big a rule change as only one step out during an at-bat. That's going to be where the timing is changed. Because pitching, if you take more than 15 to 20 seconds, you're just not very good.
Right.
And so the bigger bases, whatever. I just feel baseball's always been mathematically perfect in the infield. 90 feet to the bases, 135 feet home to second, 60 feet 6 inches. All of the things that we look at as, oh my God, bang, bang play, unbelievable play, those things will change a little bit now. But I think the most dynamic change that will impact the game in ways I don't think anybody has foreseen is the limited pickoff throws. You go back in time and tell me, Ricky Henderson, you're at first base. You now have a pitcher who can't throw over anymore.
He's taking second.
Well, I mean, what's going to happen is they're going to take what we call one-way leads, which will be enormous leads. They can take enormous leads when they're going back all the time. They'll be able to take such enormous one-way leads that they'll be able to go to second late and still be easily safe.
There's so many rule changes in baseball right now, and there was a spring training game between the Braves and the Red Sox. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Full count, bottom of the ninth, bases loaded.
Bases loaded, tie score.
Tie score. Epic 10-year-old backyard stuff. It's the whole scenario.
This is the scenario.
This is it. I mean, it's not in spring training, but, What happened?
The batter wasn't ready in time, and they called ball. They called strike 3 on him.
Game over.
Game over.
And if you're doing that at spring training, you're doing it now to instill in everybody's mind, you better learn how to work with these new rules, because if this happens in the World Series, can you imagine the World Series being decided on this? Oh, I hate it. Stop changing the game of baseball for people who don't like to watch baseball, said Jerry Seinfeld. We'll be right back.
Can't understand. Oh, love on the weekend, love on the weekend. We found a message.
According to Forbes, 96% of Americans, 96%, lose an average of $111,000 in Social Security income. Learn how you could avoid this in a one-night adult education class. Retirement Planning 101, held at colleges and universities throughout Greater St. Louis. In just 3 hours, you'll benefit from decades of financial planning experience about Social Security, taxes, healthcare and Medicare, investing for income, and so much more. These classes are hosted by financial and tax architects, your retirement professors. If you've saved at least $300,000 for retirement, register now by calling 314-626-8817. You pay zero tuition if you call today. So call 314-626-8817. 314-626-8817. 8817.
Well, on Wiggins America today, we talked about how yesterday was National Tooth Fairy Day, and at Fountains Family Dentistry, they don't care. Hear me out on why that matters, because they don't waste your time. They're nice people. I'm not saying they wouldn't, have fun with something like that, but they're not going to waste your time. You're going to go in there, and you're going to realize that getting a teeth cleaning has been on your list for a long time, and you don't want to do it because you know it's going to take some time. Well, they limit the amount of time that takes through various means, not just in the office, but by making sure that they can get you an appointment time that is going to fit your schedule. And then they'll remind you ahead of time. 2 weeks out, they'll give you a text, maybe the day before you get a text, so you don't forget it either. So they make it about as convenient as possible, and they are super, super nice people. My kids love going there, which means a lot because kids usually don't love the dentist, but they do at Fountains Family Dentistry. So visit them in Fairview Heights, Illinois. Like I said, easy to get to, both sides of the river. FountainsFamilyDentistry.com.
With inflation on the rise, you may be charging more to your credit card. But be careful. That increased debt can cause your credit score to suffer.
Don't get stuck with a low credit score and a mountain of high-interest credit card debt. Call Golden Oak Lending now.
Refinance with our low rates to wipe out your high-interest credit card debt and put extra cash in your pocket. Call 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS 114937.
Are you feeling stuck in your current workspace? ThriveCo has the solution. Hi, I'm Kirsten Yezel, Community Manager at ThriveCo, a personalized co-working space with locations in Clayton and Chesterfield Valley. ThriveCo gives you access to a quiet, productive workspace, delicious coffee, and a vibrant community of freelancers and entrepreneurs. We're locally owned and growing. Search for ThriveCo St. Louis and find the workspace you need to thrive. That's ThriveCo St. Louis.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Turbulence on Capitol Hill. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The president's pick to head the Federal Aviation Administration facing headwinds at a confirmation hearing.
Denver Airport CEO Phil Washington is President Biden's pick to run the FAA, and Democrats on a Senate committee say he's an experienced public transit chief.
He's launched DIA's Center of Equity and Excellence in Aviation. It's really the first of its kind training facility to make sure we can grow a diverse workforce.
Colorado's John Hickenlooper. Republicans like Ted Cruz of Texas are balking, saying Washington lacks aviation expertise and his professional record is spotty.
He was named in multiple search warrants in an ongoing criminal public corruption investigation and was the subject of multiple whistleblower complaints.
Republicans are also not willing to grant a waiver needed since Washington is a military retiree.
Fox's Evan Brown. President Biden calls it a big deal that the nation's largest maker of insulin is cutting the cost, dropping prices on older insulins. And Eli Lilly will also give patients access to a broader cap on prescription costs. This follows a federal cap on insulin costs for Medicare Part D.
Capping insulin at $35 is good policy. If Eli Lilly can do it, so should we in Congress.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, the president, has called for a $35 cap for all diabetes patients. Americans heading to Mexico for spring break are getting a warning from the CDC about fake pills sold at Mexican pharmacies.
UCLA researchers posing as tourists bought Xanax, Adderall, and the painkiller oxycodone at multiple pharmacies in tourist cities like Cabo and Cancun. 44% of the drugs were counterfeit.
Fox's William Lajeunesse. 30% of the oxy pills contained fentanyl. 11% included heroin, and more than 80% of the Adderall pills contained meth. America is listening to Fox News.
Is your home's title still in your name? What would you do if you discovered you're the victim of a home title theft and that the one document that proves you own your home is no longer in your name? With Home Title Lock's free lookup service, you can verify your home is still safely in your name. Thieves can now discover the title to your home online. They simply forge your signature on a transfer document stating you sold your home to them. Then they take out loans on your home or sell it to some unsuspecting buyer. Homeowners insurance and common identity theft programs do not protect you. Home Title Lock does. Home Title Lock puts a virtual shield around your home's title to help keep criminals away. First things first, verify your home's title is still in your name with Home Title Lock's free lookup service. There's no obligation. It's absolutely free. Then register your address for 30 free days of protection. Visit HometitleLock.com/free. HometitleLock.com/free.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
The first afternoon of March, and it's quite mild. 68 for the high today with a general increase in clouds. Tonight, some clouds, dry. 38 Thursday, some sun in the morning, but it's a day of increasing clouds again. Some showers late in the day with wind. 55, a solid soaking rain with some heavy rain at times and strong gusty winds Thursday night and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
So Air Comfort Service, this is kind of the time of year where maybe you're thinking soon about not having to have your furnace on so much, and maybe the air conditioner that wasn't working great last year, you were wondering, gosh, am I going to get through another year? Have Air Comfort Service come out and give it a look. And when you have them come out, they can potentially do maintenance that may prolong the life of your HVAC system. They've done that in my house before, been able to keep us from some costly replacements, and then eventually we did have to replace it. It's kind of up to you. They'll give you all of your options. They're not going to pressure you in any one way or the other. You call them at 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. And discuss with them what your experience. They will come out and give you the best service in the business. If you don't take my word as a customer of Air Comfort Service, go online and check out the Google reviews. They're glowing. They continue to win awards year after year after year. And those Google reviews, they definitely speak to what my experience has been. Great service, great products. It's Air Comfort Service. 314-513-0091. You can find them online at aircomfortservice.com.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
This is Tom Ackerman. McKelvey Homes was founded in 1898, celebrating its 125th anniversary this year. They are taking $18,980 off homes through the month of March and making a donation of $1,898, $1898, to Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital for every house sold. McKelvey Homes. Online at McKelveyHomes.com. That's McKelveyHomes.com.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com.
Mark Reardon sees clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Maholtred Ophthalmology Associates. You can too. Go to youridoc.com today. That's youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000. Ophthalmology Associates.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Awesome. That's what I'm talking about.
97.1 FM Talk.
I look forward to hearing the station all day.
Everyone is welcome.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Now, I've never tried to overemphasize how cool I am because I'm totally lame And I don't know what the kids are doing and what the things are that are happening. And there's this really annoying thing that takes place in my household right now, which is my son, who is a 7th grader in a middle school, and my daughter, who's a 5th grader, who acts like she's 30. And then my husband, who teaches in a middle school, and they communicate in a way that I don't understand. The new phrase is something like to be cracked. Have you heard this? See, because you're annoying in a way that you understand these things too as a youth pastor. Ryan is usually my... If Ryan knows it and I don't, then I'm like, oh man, this hurts.
It's like when you're cracked at something, you're good at it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Is that old?
It's a little older.
Are you cracked like pepper? Like you're hot like pepper? You're cracked?
Dude, you got to party with my guy Brandon. He's cracked at Fortnite, my guy.
I just threw up in my mouth.
Yeah.
That's
If
the type of
people
crap that happens. I'm
talk
like,
like
just
that-
speak in English, people.
Gosh, it's so annoying because it's honestly a little bit like when I hear a 7th grader cussing. I'm like, get over it. Just, we're trying too hard. I don't know what you're doing, but
what
you're
about
trying too
when
hard.
your 3-year-old says their first cuss word in an appropriate way that they probably learned from, I don't know, Dad?
Well, then it's just kind of cute.
It is,
but it can't be.
It is cute.
Because they don't know.
I can't remember. I think my mother-in-law, if she's listening right now, will probably text me and tell me. I think it was my 6-year-old. She used the S word one time. She dropped something and she said, crap. And it's like, oh, you don't want it to happen. It's bad. Bad parenting, bad everything all around.
It really is all about context. Because,
when they use it appropriately?
well, not just for kids, but for anybody. But I had my grandma, I probably shouldn't, somebody get in my family get mad at me for telling this story. But my grandma on my mom's side.
Well, just make up different people.
This was a different person than her then.
This is a person that was not my grandma.
You have to learn how to tell the story for the people because the story has merit, but not expose the names and the people who are. It's too late now.
This was just a random person I ran into.
Lay it out there and deal with the consequences.
Her name was Nancy Valanci.
Drew.
You Nancy Valanci Drew?
Fancy Nancy
And
Valanci Drew.
boy, was she ever fancy. She took me to a Nancy. But my grandma, she grew up on a farm for almost her whole life, was a farm girl, and then moved to St. Louis. I think she was from Kentucky originally. She used to use the S word like it was just like
old
nothing.
lady?
Yeah, like it was just like that's
Yeah.
just what it was. Like that, she'd talk about it in the right terms too. She wasn't saying it almost as an expletive. She would just say it. And it was fine that grandma said that. I don't know why, but it just was.
My grandpa, is that the end of your story? Because I have a story that's similar to that.
Well, I have a lot more stories about Nancy,
Well,
but
for the, I didn't want to.
for that story, I can stop.
Yes. My grandpa, World War II vet, officer in the Army, topographer, just general, greatest generation dude. He would say, "Oh hell," all the time, and it was like grandpa language.
Yeah.
And then there is a grandpa of my children. He uses what they call driving language. And he knows who he is. and my rule to my children is, now when they're 3 and they say it, they don't know that it's bad. You correct it, of course. And then you're like, go like on your own with your significant other. You're like, oh, that was so cute. That was so funny. And then you tell everybody on the radio. Terrible parenting. But if the kids are exposed to it, you say, you're not allowed to say those words. And if a kid ever comes back to me and says, well, why can you say them or why can they say them? I'm like, it has nothing to do with you. Don't even worry about it. You don't get to say them. Period. End of story. And I don't understand the arguing with kids or the trying to explain it because it's not okay when other people do it. When I'll say it to my children. If I say a bad word, it's not okay when I do it. You don't get to do it. It's just that simple.
Is that the end of your story?
It is.
But
I have more.
That's good because at the same time I hear that and I'm thinking, oh, that's good instruction because hey, everybody lets one slip every now and then. Well, except for Brad probably. But
no, he did the other day and I noted it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Ooh, can you say it?
No.
I don't remember doing this.
I got to remember what the context was.
It was probably poop or something and we're like, ooh. Brad.
He ran into the table. He was like, God dang it. And I was like, Bradley.
Oh. You don't get to use that.
Yeah, it's wrong when you do it. It's wrong when I do it. But when you hear a kid, like in a grocery store or something, just going off. And you can tell that they're probably 6 or under.
Oh my gosh.
And that is what they hear at home all the time.
Mhm.
That is sad.
It is very sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's there. You can't. You have to raise your kids to understand that the world is a broken disaster and that the expectations on them are higher. That of course everywhere you go, there are going to be things that are not what you are being raised and expected to be. And it's so broken out there that mom and dad are going to screw up all of the time too. And it's not okay when they do. It's not okay when you do it either. And I mean, it's pretty much that simple. I think I've talked about this before, but I despise counting for children. If I tell you to do something, just do it. Just freaking do it.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to get to 1, 2, 2.5, it just grates at me. You're just telling those kids you got a little more time.
I just saw a sketch the other day. There was a guy, was going to commit a crime, and he said, "I give you the count of 72." And the whole sketch was just him counting.
Yeah, exactly. That's really what it is to a child.
Yeah.
I like to count, but deliver the punishment at different times in the numbers.
You don't know how high you have to get?
Oh, no, I'm going to count to 3. 1, you're grounded.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's just the expectations. There's a lot of probably the way it's. I don't think it's our generation that's raising kids. I think it was a little bit above. I don't know if it was the way Gen Xers were raised, but there was kind of this movement to be friends with your kids, to be cool. I don't feel like I was raised. Sorry, Mom and Dad. Thanks for letting me borrow the truck today, by the way. Getting an oil change at Cassins. I was not raised in an environment where my parents were trying to be my friends. It was pretty clear. It's my fault. I was a smart butt.
You too, huh?
You are just such a smart butt.
Yeah, my dad has said that all of my mouthiness has started to pay off in my career.
Finally.
Yeah.
You too, huh?
Thanks for letting me refine that skill on you guys when I was a teenager. But they're definitely. I had friends who had parents who acted like their friends. I don't know that they were better for it, and I certainly don't. I want my kids to respect me as more than their friends. I'm the only person who can, and my husband are the only people who can be even more valuable than a friend.
Yeah, it's not the right thing to do, but didn't you want to go hang out at the friend's house whose parents were their friends? You could just do something.
I actually didn't feel comfortable.
That's where in late high school and college, man, that's where we would try to go, those houses.
I would always realize I appreciated boundaries more than I mean, I was grounded probably half of the time I was in high school, and it was just because I was mouthy.
You said in late high school and college?
Yeah, when you didn't have your house, you didn't have a house yet. And a lot of people didn't have apartments yet.
I mean, your relationship with your parents hadn't changed by then?
No, it certainly had, but I wasn't going to go to my own house and
Ryan, did you
sit around and drink or something.
Did you get in trouble in high school?
No, not really.
With your parents? Did you have a pretty agreeable relationship?
Not really. That's why even saying that phrase about going to houses like that is ridiculous for me because I wasn't really a bad kid. But you still just want to shake the shackles off.
Did your parents always trust you?
Well, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, they had I said I had curfews and things.
And you abided by them?
Yeah.
Sure. What about you?
I did not get in trouble, and that got me in trouble.
Oh, you've said before that your dad was like, go
get in trouble.
Do something wrong.
My parents, and we butted heads, and it was mouthiness that got me in trouble with my parents. So it's not like we were best buds or anything like that, but I just wasn't about the going out partying, field parties, all that other fun stuff. It just never appealed to me, so I didn't do it. And my dad's like, on a weekend, he's like, "Don't you have friends to hang out with?" Like,
he just wanted to leave.
No,
get out of here,
Dad.
They're just at home playing video games. You need to find different friends. Those people don't like me.
Oh
man, don't you have a backyard you could be in right now? Get out of here.
Yeah.
The whole reason I brought up about how cool I'm not and how there are things that are out there that I just don't know and understand, like basic vocabulary of middle school children. And I'm around it enough that I could learn it, but I don't want to. And so I think I'm just going to not. I'm just going to.
You don't need it.
You don't need to speak to me this way. I don't need to converse with you that way. I'm just going to let you speak a different language and I'm okay with it. But my husband told me he was shopping for supplies for my daughter is doing a project, I think in her history class or maybe English class. And she said, I want to do a report on the Bill of Rights. And my husband, who is a social sciences teacher and teaches American history is just over the moon with this opportunity. But my husband said he went to buy rubber cement and he had to show his ID card for it. And I said, what can we do with rubber cement?
Huff it.
He said probably sniff it, I guess. And I said we should try it. Can you really do something with, like, is that a thing?
It's an inhalant.
So you need to show an ID to buy rubber cement, but not to vote?
Crazy.
Let's get creative and figure out what we can do with rubber cement. Like prank on April 1st coming up, maybe.
We can't do
pick
that.
Hannah. We won't tell her.
Okay.
And we put rubber cement all around all of her doorways. So she's stuck.
We could use a lot of rubber. Here's what we could do. We could use a lot of rubber cement in the studio at like 2:45, just a ton of it, and then see what happens to the Mark Reardon show.
Wait, where? I don't understand.
So they smell it.
Oh, just they're smelling
We're not
it.
sticking them to people or things.
I thought you were talking about you put it all over the board or something, like you couldn't move the pots up and down.
Do people know? Is this a known thing that rubber cement is a controlled substance?
I didn't know you had to show an ID to buy it. Do you have to show an ID to buy like Sharpies? Because is
that what you sniff?
No.
I would. They smell good.
Sniff Sharpies and eat crayons.
Man, new car smells.
What's eating crayons?
It's just
Is this what you were doing at home in high school when you didn't have friends?
Maybe. Stuck crayons up my nose.
Don't you have a crayon to go eat, boy?
No wonder he doesn't have friends.
Take that crayon out of your nose. Put the rubber cement
The orange
down.
ones and the purple ones taste the same.
Brad's getting into the rubber cement again. Just give him some crayons.
All right, let's take a quick break. The Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. Are you following the Alex Murdaugh trial? Yes or no? We are all a big fat no on this, so much so that we're not even 100% sure how to pronounce his
Are you
last
saying
name.
Murdaugh?
Yes, because Fox is saying that.
The expert witnesses were saying Murdaugh. But whatever, I can't figure it out.
I don't believe you. Show me a video where they're saying that.
Okay.
Do you have one?
Okay.
I want to pronounce it correctly.
It was at my desk about 3 hours ago. I don't know. I could dig it up.
Probably on your phone.
I wasn't on my phone. I was at my desk.
All right. Well, don't put too much work into it.
I won't.
I'm shocked. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
So when did you say you lost your first tooth?
3rd grade.
3rd grade. That's 9 years
8.
old?
For me, it was 8 years old.
So I texted Foley Dental, and I texted one of the dentists there, and I said, when is the normal latest time to lose your first tooth? She said, I've seen 7 to 8-year-olds.
Yeah, I was on the high end of that. Yeah.
Well, I asked for normal.
It's real. That's real.
Your first tooth lost.
3rd grade.
Yeah, well.
8 years old.
Go to right now, go to FoleyDentalGroup.com and check out their new location. You can see it all right there at FoleyDentalGroup.com. They're accepting new patients. If you are looking for dental care, just, run-of-the-mill, 2 times a year teeth cleaning, or if it's something way more involved in that, like late tooth loss or something like that, like Ryan would have
condition.
had.
It's real.
Yeah. Go to FoleyDentalGroup.com and see what they can offer you. They have all of the different things that you need. They have a whole health approach. They have a brand new facility. It's located at 159 and 270. They are our dentist, and I appreciate seeing all of them. They have top-of-the-line technology there to make the process smooth. They see my kids. They see us. They've done fillings on multiple people in my family, and each and every time we go there, we walk away going, that was great. It's not a negative experience whatsoever. In fact, it's a positive one. Reach out to Foley Dental Group and schedule an appointment today. Tell them the Annie Frey Show sent you. FoleyDentalGroup.com.
Here at Odyssey, we know that all too often the news is filled with stories that just heighten the level of tension and anxiety in your daily life. So we've decided to puncture those worries and fears like a jet fighter shooting down a spy balloon from China. Or is it aliens now? Who can keep up? And that's the point. You don't have to, thanks to our new podcast, Name That News. We'll play you a handful of clips from the week, wildly out of context, and let you try and figure out just what is going on. Just like you do every day when the news is on, just more fun. Name That News, available now on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Spring is the perfect time for a refresh, and at Ashley, you'll find the pieces you love. Shop now with financing options options for every budget. Get 60 months no interest with no down payment. Ashley's biggest event of the year is going on now. Shop hot deals starting at $199. Plus, shop Ashley Sleep Doorbuster mattresses. Your choice Comfort Queen mattress, now only $399. Text 79975 to schedule your appointment today. The Orange event is happening now. In-store only at Ashley.
Learn to make money 5 ways with rental real estate. Double your money with apartments. And get your map to financial freedom. And that map starts with a free workshop. Sign up now at lifestylesunlimited.com. Click on the Join Free Workshop tab and attend online or in person. That's lifestylesunlimited.com. Lifestylesunlimited.com. Again, that's lifestylesunlimited.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years, Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO, easy to remember phone number, or go online today at 877-25-RHINO.com.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules.
You know, it's Lent, and we want you to come have a fish dinner with us on The Mark Reardon Show.
Fish Fry Fridays start this week with the first one at St. Stephen Proto-Martyr Catholic Church.
Come join us.
The Mark Reardon Show, this week on 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Did you guys hear Tom Brady wants to do comedy?
No,
He wants
I'm
to shift
down for
into
that, though.
You really?
I'd watch that in a heartbeat.
You think he's funny?
No, I think he's going to fail. It's going to be fun.
It is going to be funny. Just
Yes.
not like that.
Yes. Wouldn't that be amazing to watch? I mean,
just bad comedy.
It'd be incredible. And it's Tom Brady. You know, he's been like the most successful quarterback in history. And then here's the first time he's ever failed in his life, and you can see it live.
Stand up. Oh, man. In front of everybody.
That
sounds awful.
I mean, maybe it'll be good, but there's a lot of people that would be rooting for it to be terrible. Way more people, which maybe is motivating. That's kind of fuel. He understands that.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be incredible if it was fantastic? If it was some of the best stand-up you'd ever seen in your life? Like, man, Tom Brady's at it again. This guy's unbelievable.
In order to be a quarterback at any level, let alone at the highest of highest levels, you have to have some charisma.
Oh, yeah.
And Tom Brady definitely has charisma. So I can imagine he is way funnier than any of us really know.
Yeah, I wonder about that, though, because every time you see him, like, on the sidelines, you don't see him, like, making guys crack up or whatever. He's, like, screaming at them.
Yeah, you don't see him being funny in interviews and stuff. That's usually the guys that you would see maybe try to do something weird.
But to compare him to, say, like, I don't know, Peyton Manning has done Saturday Night Live and has been hilarious. And him and Eli do their...
But Peyton Manning is Peyton Manning funny.
Yeah.
Right.
That's part of Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
As it's not really the Tom Brady chiseled jaw, pose for pictures with your supermodel wife, kick butt on the football field, that's the Tom Brady thing. Tom Brady is much more quiet. I mean, if you were to go into urban America and ask people who are actually maybe any of them, and ask them to describe some things about Tom Brady. Great football player, probably hate him. He had a MAGA hat in his locker.
Yeah.
It'd be named. It would come up frequently. What does Tom Brady joke about on the stage? What are the issues? Because I'm sure he's got a lot of things to say. One of the things I heard people reporting on was that he was open to partaking in a roast of himself.
Ooh, man, that probably would be good. But then you're not really the one telling the jokes. You just sit there and take it.
Well, yeah, but you get to
you get to do jokes.
You get to respond.
You can, but you usually got to be pretty quick. It's not all scripted, and I don't see him
they
being
take the podium,
unscripted
don't they?
funny.
Yeah, they take the podium.
Do they at some point?
Yeah, they respond after they've been roasted. They get to go up and roast everybody who roasted them.
Oh, so that's the scripted part then. Okay.
Have you ever seen a roast?
Yeah, but I don't love them, so I don't watch them a lot.
Brad, could you partake in a roast of you?
Yes.
You think you could?
Yeah, I think I could handle it.
Ryan, do you think you could partake in a roast of you?
I don't think so.
No?
No, I don't think I could do it.
I don't know that I could either. I would be so annoyed.
I would be like, am I supposed to think this is funny? Because if it got mean, I'd be like, man, that kind of hurts.
I feel like
if it got mean, it is supposed to be mean.
Well, yeah, but it's all in good fun, just like we do. But if it got mean, I think I'd just sit over in the corner, looking, examine my life.
Ryan be sitting in the chair sobbing.
Yeah, I'd make everybody feel real bad about it.
Chris Rock is going to speak about the Will Smith slap, and it's going to be. He said, remember when he said, I'll speak about it on my terms at the right time? Well, Netflix is going to have a live event at 10 o'clock. It's on a Saturday, but I don't know if it's this Saturday. I just heard a portion of the thing, but I found it very interesting. It's, I think, the very first live, almost and in person. But, they have events that are recorded live on Netflix that you can watch. This is going to be streamed live on Netflix. And I think he probably found the right time.
Yeah.
I think that the money might have been right for that. I'm kind of interested in what he has to say. Not really. I'm not a Netflix subscriber. I haven't been since the whole Cuties thing. I have been very close to resubscribing multiple times because I really want to see the Chappelle stand-up. I've been saying that for like a year or two now. I just don't have enough time to really commit to a new subscription, so I just haven't renewed it yet. I'm not going to subscribe for this, but I am interested to hear what Chris Rock has to say about that whole thing.
I'd be interested in it in the sound bites that we will play back in a segment. That is exactly how I would like to consume that. Is just by sitting here and responding as you play them live.
Does Will Smith recover from this just fine eventually? I mean, can time heal all wounds here?
I think he's always going to be known, the biggest thing he's going to be known for is slapping Chris Rock.
Really?
Yeah, I think that'll be it. As time goes away.
More than Men in Black and Independence Day.
For sure, because it'll be the most outrageous thing that he did.
The worst iteration of the genie to ever be thought of.
Yeah. I don't think so. I still see Will Smith movies. I've never really cared for him as a serious actor. I like when he's a comedic actor.
Hitch.
But when I see the movies, I don't really think about the slap. I just think, is it a movie I want to watch or not?
Yeah, but whenever I say Will Smith, what's the first thing that pops to your mind?
Men in Black.
It's not the slap.
It's not?
Not for me.
Oh, it's still the slap for me.
I tell you what, though, it really could hurt everything from here on out. I don't think it's going to hurt his, people watching movies he's made already. I just don't know. For a few years, he probably is a bit of a pariah in Hollywood.
Well, my thing is, I'm not saying I'll never watch a Will Smith movie again, but I'll never not see him slap Chris Rock across the face. And that will never be the top of my mind, not be the top of my mind of things that come to mind.
I think it was Matt Walsh who tweeted out a poll, and it was who's the worst wife. And Jada Pinkett Smith was one of them. Jill Biden was one of them. Giselle Fetterman was one of them. And Meghan Markle was one of them. Who's the worst?
Jada Pinkett Smith.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think?
I've got Giselle Fetterman.
I can make a case for 3 out of 4, and the fourth one I don't give a crap about.
Yeah.
Or that word that my baby said that one time.
The poop.
Yeah. It's to me. I kind of think that Jada. If you look back on the Will Smith slap, and you can see how distraught he is in his eyes, he is beside himself. He's there. You can tell there is something controlling his behavior, his reaction that he is not in control of. And I think it's Jada. And if you've paid attention, the boldness with which, her Red Table show or whatever that she has, where they come together and this is all about that stupid self-love movement. Jada is so interested and involved in commoditizing this idea of, you really need to learn how to love yourself. That she wants to love herself more with another man, and she expects Will to be okay with it. I understand why he's out of his mind. And I wonder, we don't know what happens in that home. We don't know what their real marriage is like. They have been what they would call very open about struggles that they've had. But sometimes it's like you're so open about it. Is this content?
Yeah, right. Are you just doing it because it's your character now?
Not that they really have a happy marriage, but what are you doing? And I just cannot stand watching her emasculate him over and over and over again. And he apparently he remains a faithful husband. He hasn't remained faithful either.
No.
But he has remained in his marriage.
Yeah, committed to the marriage.
Committed
Sort
to the
of.
commitment.
Yeah, committed to the idea that they're married.
But I mean, when she is explaining, what did she call it? It wasn't an indiscretion. She had a word for it, and I can't. I'm gonna figure out what it was here. When she was seeing this other man, and he knew that there was this other relationship going on, there was like zero remorse. She basically said, "If Will loves me, he'll understand why I need this." That's the worst. To me, the Jill Biden thing. I've asked that question many times. How does she not see what is taking place with her husband? You are supposed to love him and protect him. Mm-hmm. And in sickness and in health and all of those things that you've committed to do, you are supposed to love him more than you love yourself. And you're supposed to provide a support system, and he's supposed to do the same thing for you, as to where you are advocating for what's best for them, even at times when it might not be what you want. You have to give of yourself. Giselle Fetterman, very hard to say that there's somebody out there that's worse than her.
Yeah.
I do not care about Meghan Markle in any capacity whatsoever. I don't know anything about it other than don't want to know. So I have to take her off the list. But Jada to me is almost worse because it's like she perpetuates the cycle, but then I say that out loud, and I guess you could say the same thing about the other two.
Yeah. For me, and this is looking at it, this is the man perspective at it. Will Smith, you throw Prince Harry in there as well. These are men who are of sound mind and body and could stand up for themselves, and they are just letting this happen to them. You can't say that about Joe Biden or especially John Fetterman. And that to me is what that's why Giselle's the worst, because she is absolutely taking advantage of her husband, who is not mentally well, who has been in a hospital for how long now? 2 weeks?
Well, in and out for longer than that.
Yeah. And that's the worst for your own clout chasing, to take advantage of your husband, who you said for better or for worse, in sickness or in health. You are using your husband to clout chase, and he can't even stand up for himself. He can't advocate for himself. At least Will Smith and at least Prince Harry could advocate for themselves.
She called it an entanglement. You remember that?
Yeah, somebody said that in the chat.
Oh, good. I should have just looked there.
Yeah.
They're always right. They're always on it. But yeah, I'm having an affair with somebody, and I love that person. And, we had an entanglement, and he was like, oh, an entanglement. Like, you've given it this name. And she's like, yeah. Oh, that.
Yep. That's why I chose her, because the other three, I don't know what their home lives are like.
It just seems extra malicious.
She's out there openly cheating. He's not stopping her, but
he's not,
and that's your
her.
point.
And he's also not doing it himself. He's talked about the same.
But of those situations, that one stuck out to me the most as there's no way I could not handle that. There's no way of those four.
The idea of selflessness, I think, is most embodied in marriage, and the idea of sacrificing yourself for somebody else that is involved in parenting, of course. Do we have good, healthy, strong role models in secular society right now that people can look to and say, Those people seem to be doing it right. I'll throw one out there. I think the Obamas did a good job of that.
Yeah, their marriage does seem pretty healthy. You know, every story you see is, but you're also seeing stories that are written to be glowing on purpose. But you don't have any like major rumors flying. They usually seem like they've got it figured out.
What do you think?
Strong secular role models.
So if you're a kid today and you're using goofy language that your mom doesn't understand, you're in middle school and you're looking at relationships and you're looking at people who are out there and you're seeing the likes of a lot of these music artists that are just sexually perverting themselves all over the place. I mean, it is just all about how much you can serve yourself everywhere you go. Who is out there showing, not necessarily, soapbox preaching on it, but who out there is just saying, no, we've got this figured out. And then you can look at, as a young person, and go, that's what I want for me.
Yeah. The two people that popped into my mind initially were Mark Wahlberg and Chris Pratt, but they don't count because they're not secular. I mean, they're not.
They are secular, but they also
they ascribe to their faith, and it's part of their life.
Mark Wahlberg has definitely made faith his current, and I'm not saying this disparagingly, so I actually commend him for it. That's his current content. Chris Pratt is guilty of going to church and being an actor. He will not set aside his faith. He'll make comments about his faith, but he is not famous because of his faith. Right. His faith is part of who he is, and people who love him, he's the best, Chris. People who love him because they love him in Guardians of the Galaxy or, not The Office. Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec and The Terminalist. And he's a really, really good actor. He's fantastic. Jurassic World, great series. I appreciate him so much. He had a child with Anna Faris and they got divorced, and he's experienced that. He's like many other Americans. I think that Matthew McConaughey, I think he's had a pretty normal.
It's funny you say that. He was the other one on my mind.
Hugh Jackman.
You know what's funny? I was going to say Pierce Brosnan, but these people aren't.
They're not people
kids are looking at.
Yeah, they're not. There's no compliment. Not at least that comes to the top of the head. There's like Miley Cyrus. Where's the other side of that spectrum?
The people who are doing the opposite of Miley Cyrus, whatever that is, are not loud about it. That's the problem.
Candace Cameron Bure, she is absolutely somebody who she's probably the closest, and she's very vocal on her Christian faith, but she has been a huge advocate for family, for marriage, for parenting, for all of those things, and she's an advocate for prayer, but she's not famous because of that. She was very famous and has not dismissed that. Yeah,
I'm seeing on the chat a lot of names. People are listening, like Kurt Russell. It's like, yeah, but he's older. And
Princess Jay and Beyonce they've been married for a while, right? I can't disagree with that on the surface.
But I don't know that I would look at them and say, hey, your marriage should be like theirs.
It's just funny to think going to my son and being like, son, I want to sit you down. I want you to watch Kurt Russell. And I want you to see what he's done with his life.
Well, no, because I understand you're making a joke here, and I actually do think the Kurt Russell example is an interesting one for people to look into. But it is important to be aware of the culture that's around your kids, because we're telling our kids how we're raising our kids. And then they're naturally going to rebel against what you tell them. They're going to dip their toe and try things that are not what mom and dad said. And then they're going to figure out for themselves, maybe mom and dad were right, hopefully. Maybe they don't. But the influences that are out there in the world will have an impact on your kids. They will reinforce the things that parents teach them, or they will tempt them to try other things. And I just think that it's interesting how few examples of what you might teach in a morally sound environment that there are people who are celebrating that.
I've got it. Justin Bieber and Haley Baldwin.
That is a good example.
Right?
That's a really good example.
That's the youngest, best example I could think of in the last 10 minutes.
That's an incredible example, because they have openly struggled or commented on the fact that marriage, I think it was Justin was saying marriage was a difficult concept, that the thought of just being with one woman for the rest of time. And he had to give into that. And that's he's been openly Christian. He's been very publicly a drug user. He, has tattoos all over the place, which doesn't mean nearly as much in 2023 as it did like in 1993 when we were growing up. But he has been a bit wayward, but he's been pulled back in, and he is definitely somebody, Haley, the both of them they didn't have to get married. They could have coexisted, but they did, and they've talked about the importance of marriage. That's a good example.
Yeah, and they're few and far between. They're one example.
Did you Google that, or did someone put that in the comment?
No, I just thought of it.
Just your brilliance.
Yeah, it just takes me a second because I'm brilliant, but I'm slow.
Hunter, who was in the doghouse yesterday for saying something nice about Ryan, what did he say about you? It was right because it was you or something?
Like anything I say is right because I'm the one saying it?
Pretty much is
something
what
like
I heard.
Yeah, I'm accepting of that.
He says Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar. I love that because Freddie Prinze Jr. was my high school crush because I was in high school in the late 90s and the early 2000s, which meant all of those movies starring Freddie Prinze Jr. I think my first password on the internet was FPJR.
Oh my gosh,
I'm not joking. No.
Let's dig into this a little bit. Let's go along here.
Well, I'll tell you this. One of the highlights of my Twitter career, and if you look at Annie Frey Show on Twitter and you look at the people who follow me, I have some really cool people who follow me on Twitter. I don't think he does, although that'd be sweet if he did, Freddie. He tweeted out one time something to the effect of, I don't know, he was commenting something about the grossest scenes in movies, and if you've seen She's All That, have you seen She's All That?
I don't think so.
Have you seen She's All That?
I think so.
There's a cafeteria scene. I'm not going to go into it. There's a pizza. There's a cafeteria scene. Apparently
I have not.
Somebody puts something on the pizza, and then he says, Hoover it, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. This is a family show. But if you Google it, and then you can watch him Hoover it, it is the most disgusting thing in the world. So I tweeted it at him, and I think he liked it. And I was like, Freddie has acknowledged my existence. This is how it starts.
Wow.
Freddie Prinze Jr. is so cute. He's still cute. I think now he just talks about wrestling and video games. I'm not even joking.
Living the life.
No joke.
Every time he tweets, I'm always like, I want to interact. I got nothing.
Freddie Prinze Jr. Was he on your wall? Did you have like Freddie Prinze sheets and stuff?
Jonathan Taylor Thomas definitely graced the wall of JTT. There was a white poster, and he was sitting there in like his 13 or 14-year-old self sitting on a stool.
Yeah.
And then maybe some other would come out of like Bop magazine or something.
Was he wearing a denim jacket?
Probably.
Sounds right.
Stonewashed jeans.
Hair parted down the middle.
I don't know that anybody other than JTT really graced the walls of Annie's bedroom. But yeah, those were the days. If my daughter was like, I'm going to put a picture of this man on my wall, I'm like, you absolutely are not.
What if it was Freddie Prinze Jr.? Now.
You've got an idea. I'm going to get 45-year-old Freddie Prinze Jr.
And he's like, absolutely not.
And Freddie Prinze Sr.
Puts it on her own wall.
I'm going to do that. Then we're going to sit down and watch this guy say Hoover it. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get the results to the poll today. Are you following the Alex Murdaugh trial? Yes or no? We don't know how to say his last name because we're not following it. I need to know if you are. We're not covering it all. Other people can't stop covering it. Is this something you want to know more about? Gosh, I hope you're voting no. Go to the YouTube live chat poll. Vote. We'll be right back.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Some sweat hog a mama with a face like a gent. Said my get up and go, must have got up and went. Well, I got good news, she's a real good liar.
Buying and selling a home on the Illinois side of the river is made easy when you work with Jen Teskey and Remax Alliance. Jen is fantastic. She is so giving and she's so smart when it comes to selling in the Metro East. She knows exactly what to do, exactly how to coach you, exactly how to ease your worries going through that process and to get the house sold for the dollar amount you're hoping for. She'll be super honest with you. Here's what you need to work on in the house or to spruce up. Don't do anything. We can sell this house. We can sell it fast. She has a dedicated team of professionals as well that are going to help treat you like family, get this process done so the house gets sold fast. Are you thinking about listing your home on the Illinois side of the river? Choose Jen Teskey. You can reach out to her and start the conversation. Maybe you're thinking you've read some headlines or something. Maybe now's not the right time. I promise you, a conversation with Jen Teskey will prepare you to get that house sold at the time that's right for you, and will be able to compete in any market that we are in at the current time. Jen Teskey, Remax Alliance, 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010.
Your retirement plan was solid. You'd sell your home and use all that hard-earned equity to live your dream. No one saw inflation hitting a 40-year high or the housing bubble that could crater your home's value. So what do? You can put your retirement plans on hold indefinitely or hope to sell your home before its value crashes and then find a new place to live. What if your best move is no move at all? Truehold will buy your home today before values plunge. But here's what makes Truehold unique. You can keep living in your home, paying a comfortable rent. The cash is yours now for travel, retirement, invest it, pay off your bills, anything. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. Truehold is the simple, easy solution to unlock financial freedom without having to move and disrupt your life. Discover how much Truehold will give you now for your home while its value is high. Call 1-855-300-9993, 855-300-9993, or visit Truehold.com.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. We personalize this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell & Cordell. Divorce can be complicated, especially if children are involved. If you're a father and want to protect your role in your children's lives, remember Cordell & Cordell. We've helped men with matters like these for 30 years, and we'd love to help you.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's St. Louis area attorneys. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town and Country, Missouri, 63017. Online at CordellCordell.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Tony LaRussa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet, first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service offers insulation services. Did you know 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated? Increase your energy savings and comfort with better insulation. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
So much to talk about with former White House spokesman and talk show host in his own right, Sean Spicer. He'll join me Wednesday afternoon.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
That I made inside my head to get me by. 20 years in debt, 20 years in the government, 20 years can never get me by.
I know we should be back on the air right now, but I'm busy explaining Zach Morris to Hannah. Have you ever watched Saved by the Bell?
Nope.
You've never seen Saved by the Bell?
I've never seen it.
Have you ever seen the YouTube channel Zach Morris is the Worst?
Nope.
Okay. It basically goes
really,
over...
I don't know who Zach Morris is at all.
She's a fan of Mark Paul Gosselaar's other work.
Look at... He's been in a lot of things since then. That like
That's my point.
It took a long time for him to get there. Look at this. So this is Zach Morris, and this is Justin Bieber.
Oh, wow. They look very similar.
Yes. There's nobody cuter than Zach Morris.
Agreed.
He is cute. What does he look like now?
Still cute, just a little fatter.
You think he's cute, Ryan?
It's because it's what you do when you get older.
Everybody thinks he's cute. But yeah, so we were talking about people who have really successful relationships and pop culture people who kids can look up today. And we're like, oh my gosh, Justin Bieber and what's her name?
Haley Baldwin.
Haley! So they're so great together and they really commit to each other. And then I look on our our chat that we have that's a private chat so that we can all talk at the same time. And Hannah just says in all caps, no.
No.
In 30 seconds, because that's extra time, can you tell us why we were wrong?
You guys are wrong because Justin and Hailey Bieber are having issues currently because Selena Gomez, his ex, is coming back into the picture, and recently they've been called out. There's a ton of comparisons with Hailey and Selena, and then Justin came out and said something about an arranged marriage, and
wait a minute,
it's not good.
Wait,
an arranged?
Who arranged the marriage?
The
Hailey's dad.
But
like Justin Bieber had to do it?
Kind of was.
Haley's dad arranged it? What kind of dowry did
It's
Biebs
not.
get?
It's not certain, but people are speculating it.
Oh,
it's Hollywood.
This sounds
You
like
heard
TMZ.
it first on the Annie Fry
But
Show.
Hailey Bieber is losing all these followers now, and it's just not looking great. I'm on Team Selena.
Is it possible it's all crap?
Absolutely.
Oh gosh.
But
I'm Team Zach Morris.
But didn't
Ride or
Bieber
die.
write that song about Haley or about Selena Gomez? My mama don't like you and she likes everyone.
Friends
You are so
forever.
stuck on that.
I am.
Justin Bieber's wrote a lot of songs about Selena.
Let's just keep looking at pictures of Zach Morris and
Yeah.
Justin Bieber together. It's uncanny. If you've never just Google Justin Bieber, Zach Morris, and they're the same. I think that there's some sort of loop in the system here.
That had to be when it was like the early seasons of Saved by the Bell, back when it was still the Miss Bliss episodes.
No,
No?
no, this is the one with his teased hair when he was in Zack Attack.
Oh, yeah, the band.
The
Sweet.
band.
Pretty good band.
Next to Justin Bieber's mugshot.
Oh. Oh, so that was Bad Boy Zach Morris next to
look at
Bad
him.
Boy Bieber.
Are you kidding me? Right now with that, they look exactly alike.
Gosh, they
Could be
need to
the
get
same
a
person.
pose
That's the
that's a little
cutest
better.
mugshot I've ever seen.
I know his little cheeks look like they need to be pinched. His face.
This is why he gets away with this.
Is he
crap.
like 30 now?
I don't know. I think I'm scarily venturing into cougar territory.
Yeah, I do too. I think we've also all figured out all of your passwords for your computers.
Yeah.
Zach Morris.
This is just abbreviations.
When I
of-
liked Zach Morris, we didn't have a computer. The phones were this big. You had to lift them with two hands.
It was
to
a
put them up
brick.
to your. Yes, exactly. The information and news everybody's talking about. Let's do the YouTube poll.
Are you?
Or not talking about.
I don't even know how to say his name.
Wouldn't it be so apropos to not tell you the results of the poll?
Yeah, that's the show. For the results of the poll, go click on it.
It's Murdaugh. Like, hey, you're my dog.
No.
Murdaugh.
It's
Are you following the
Murdaugh.
Alex Murdaugh, Murdock, murder?
Oh, hey! Easy there. We don't know the outcome yet.
Trial, yes or no? 87% of our audience is not following it.
Good. I'm
13%
so
of
happy.
it is.
Well, you 13%, get on the YouTube chat and tell us what we need to know, like how to say his name.
There is a Netflix documentary on
Which one is
this.
What's it called? Everybody's watched it.
I have not.
Everybody
Has anyone
watched
here?
Isn't it weird they put out a documentary and it's still happening?
Yeah.
Isn't that just
is
called a
weird.
live
It's
stream?
just a little meta.
It's a little weird.
Maybe I don't know if this is the best or the worst poll we've ever done because every time we talk about it, we just start asking questions we don't have answers to. Didn't they? I don't know. Wasn't
it
that
still
the person
going?
who?
Couldn't tell you.
Maybe.
Tomorrow's poll, you're rooting for the Murdaugh.
The really, really good news here is that 87% of the people said no, not yes, which means tomorrow we will carry on as we have been. Stick around, the Mark Reardon Show coming up next.
Hi guys, it's Mark with Pineview Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and